Hello, kiddies. It's your old pal John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I hope you get to check out my good fiends at A Decade of Horror on the PSVG Podcast Network. I hope you love them like I do. They're a scream.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Greetings, Koopalings, and a welcome back. That sound can only mean yet another installment in our decade-long anthology of horror movies. PSVG's Decade of Horror 2024 begins now. I'm joined by the trio that's been here the last few go-arounds, Count Chocula, Delvin Cox, and Spooky Josh Bones is back. What's up, guys?
Hello.
I appreciate that. Me and Josh has like festive names. Yours just Donnie.
Oh, you want me to come up with a spooky name? I don't know. What should my spooky name be?
Spooky. It's a Spooky Donnie name.
It can't be Spooky Donnie because he's already Spooky Bones.
That is horrible. That's a horrible name, Spooky Donnie.
Spooky Donnie. Ooh. I got nothing.
It'll come to us. We'll have to think of it.
Yeah.
Casper.
Yeah.
Casper. That's got to be alliterative.
Wow,
at least that's just an insult.
I don't know why it's racist. It just is.
It's great.
Wow. Yeah. So we're gonna do our horror movie podcast of the year. I feel very unprepared for this show compared to normal. It's been a hell of a week, guys. So I am literally puttering into the show like on fumes.
Yeah, it's okay. You got stuff going on.
Even as I am doing this, like as I was doing the intro, I'm looking at my phone as we're getting more alerts on the giant acid cloud and the giant hurricane and everything else that's going on in the world this week. But I am looking forward to this. I am somewhat prepared. I do have my list. I did comb through them today. I did kind of set some reminders, so I feel good. I always love this show. It's one of my favorite things that I think we've ever done. As I often joke, and it's just true, but the joke is 100% true. This is like, I think, the least watched, least interacted with piece of content PSVG is like ever done.
Pretty much.
It's also my favorite, and I honestly think it might be my best. I don't know if all of them will be. I don't know if this one will be. I would say probably this one isn't. But when I look back at what we did with this, like I'm really proud of that. Like we covered so much. Like it's just so much. Yeah. Content. There's a quantity of content there that I'm really proud of, and I think we did the thing.
I agree.
So I'm eager and looking forward to do it. So as we do each and every episode, we kick off as we reminisce on the year that was. Josh, why don't you hit us with some fun facts of 2024?
What a year!
Is there fun facts?
Ready? Let's start it. Let's get going.
Josh,
the western coast of go ahead.
Before you start, you better have one fun fact in here. I'm gonna curse you out. There's one fact you better have to start it off this goddamn year. Okay. And if you don't have it in here, I'm gonna have a fit.
I don't know if this works.
Tell you which one is the fun fact.
This is what my team just sent me.
Ooh,
it's a photo of like Atlanta on fire, underwater, with frozen, and stuff like
oh my God.
Yeah. Well, we can start with Godzilla.
There's your fun fact.
There you go.
You can add that one in there.
We start the year off with a 7.5 magnitude earthquake off the western coast of Japan, killing almost 400 people and injuring 1,400 people. That's how we start the year. In February 2nd, is that Groundhog Day? Something bad happened to the U.S. military. One of their drones was shot down, so they bombed 85 targets to retaliate.
That's true.
That's how we do it.
Yeah. Sounds pretty fair.
Fuck around.
Yeah.
We're gonna find. If we can't find that drone, we're just gonna scorch Earth.
Murder everyone.
Here's your good news, I guess. This is your happy news. And in an unprecedented, my camera keeps freezing, move, Russia nominates Putin for his 5th term.
Wow.
So, they love him there.
Man of the people.
Who did he run against? Just curious.
People's champ.
That guy, I think his running competition died maybe during the election.
Yeah, probably.
Heard he fell out of a window.
Yeah.
Clumsy guy, that guy.
Fell out of a plane.
He can't be running a country if he can just fall
like
out
a jet.
Yikes. We did have a total solar eclipse in North America on April 8th.
That's true, we did.
On May 30th, for the first time in American president history, former President Donald Trump is found guilty of 34 counts.
Should have been more.
He's the first president to be found guilty of a crime. So that's fun news.
History right there.
Yeah.
On July 13th, 2 days before my birthday, he survived the crime. We'll leave it at that.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Got the ear Band-Aid, got the Nelly on the ear thing going.
Yeah. We got the Band-Aid look. And then don't forget, we also had the Olympics. That will be our big year. You got some Lady Gaga, you got some headless women in windows for all those kids watching the opening ceremonies to enjoy. The U.S. did top in gold with 40 gold and also top medals with 126 medals total.
Top gold, medal, and drones.
We did tie with China for top gold, but we can pretend that tie didn't happen.
Sure.
Sports don't matter, right? Taylor Swift won the Super Bowl, so that was great for her.
That is true.
Good job.
I'm the 18,000th white man to make that joke, but I'll still make them.
18,500.
There we go. Okay. Now, and we'll just there's a lot of deaths, so we'll just end this with how many people died.
Yeah, a lot of deaths. That's
all right.
We're on the right show for that
podcast.
So here's some notable deaths.
Notable deaths of 2024.
We got Roger Corman.
Oh yeah,
come on, that's one.
Shannon Doherty.
That's another.
Phil Donahue.
That's another one.
Content relative Shelley Duvall passes away.
Okay.
Louis Gossett Jr.
Iron Eagle.
The best Jackson, Tito Jackson.
That's debatable.
That's not debatable. He's the best Jackson.
He is a Jackson.
I forgot.
One of the Jacksons.
To be honest with you, I forgot about her.
Yeah, that was this year.
Tito? Oh, Shelley Duvall. Oh, Tito.
Yeah.
Don't misgender Tito Jackson. James Earl Jones passes pretty recently.
Mufasa. Vader.
Mufasa. Yeah, that's all he's known for is Mufasa. So good call.
Vader.
It's amazing that he had a role that overshadowed Vader.
Right? Isn't that
he
crazy?
had multiple roles. That's crazy. He's had several.
He's got all of them. Toby Keith passes away.
True.
Willie Mays. Richard Lewis. Dikembe Mutombo.
That was today.
Yeah.
Bob Newhart.
There we go.
Richard Simmons.
Yeah.
Notorious only for sports. O.J. Simpson. Maggie Smith. Morgan Spurlock.
Okay.
Donald Sutherland.
Wow.
Carl Weathers. And Jerry West.
You forgot one.
I probably forgot a bunch. What do you got?
You forgot a bunch, but one notable one. Frankie Beverly from Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
If you go to any black barbecue, you will hear Frankie Beverly and Maze. So.
Okay. All right.
Off rip.
Wow.
Those are our deaths. I didn't record anything fun because why not?
Also, Josh, notable death. My grandmother, Josh, you fucker.
Oh, man. You know what? I can't come back from that. That's
you added to this goddamn list, Josh.
Fun facts of 2024.
I can't believe I forgot.
Let's see here.
And you forgot the whole.
An ancient lost city was discovered in Ecuador.
Donnie, don't do my job better than me.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do something. I'm just trying to
he
not
forgot.
end
He
it
forgot.
on a string of
the
deaths.
whole thing that started based off of Cat Williams, who started this year off fucked up.
Oh, I forgot about Sean Combs.
Cat Williams.
He's the one who started this shit.
We can't forget P. Diddy. We can't forget
as a child, as a
these,
3-year-old child, I read 8,000 books a day.
Yeah, and he's the one who said the thing about P. Diddy. He kind of predicted it.
Here you go. March 10th, my birthday, Mario Day. Christopher Nolan wins Best Director for film Oppenheimer.
There you go.
Still haven't watched it yet.
There we go.
Same. I have not also watched it.
Oppenheimer's good. It's long, but it's good.
It seems boring.
That's why I haven't watched it.
It is kind of slow. It's a slow, boring kind of movie.
Like I'm not watching that for 3 hours.
It's not a. I mean, it's a drama. It's not an action flick or anything by any means.
Yeah, I'll watch it at some point.
Okay.
Heard there's only one big explosion.
Yeah, and then
it's a good
just
one.
The
one. But it's a good one.
So how did we do on our 2024 movie watch list? How did you do? How do you think the year fared in horror movies?
I'll let you go, Josh.
Okay. I feel like we've had it feels like we're short on content for this. Usually when we come to this, I feel like there's a lot of movies that came out. I think this was a little light in the year for horror, at least up till now.
Well, there's a lot coming out in a couple of weeks now too. So
yeah, we got a group in about 2 to 3 weeks. We have some stuff, but I feel like last year we talked for a long time last year. So I think we had we also had big ones. Like we had Talk to Me last year. We had some really big heavy hitters last year. That being said, I'm still happy with this year, but I don't know. I don't look into movie releases like I do video games. Like I'm not just anticipating, unless it's big movie, but usually, I mean, I'll see it when I see it. Now that I have kids, or a kid, my movie going experiences have changed so much that I don't even really look to see what's in theaters. So I kind of become oblivious to that.
I'll echo your sentiments. It's funny. As the start of the year, I was over the moon for this year of horror movies. Really excited. There were so many that I wanted to see in theaters, and I did.
So I remember you put a list together. Yeah,
I've been to the movies this year more in 1 year than I think I've ever been to the movies, and some of them I didn't go. I ultimately did not go see The Crow. Smile 2 just comes out next week. I haven't seen that yet, obviously. But I've gone to the movies several times, so I was very excited of the highlights. But I will echo your sentiments in this regard. As I was putting my list together, I really feel like, obviously I don't remember every show we did. I feel like this show might have the potential for being the most diverse in our lineups of movies. We probably have similar movies. There's probably we probably have the same 5 in each 10.
Yeah.
But they're probably completely out of order and different because there is no this was the best movie this year.
Yeah.
We don't have that option really, I don't think.
And I think the ones that you could put as candidates are very not in the same genre of horror or category of horror because there's thriller. We got a bunch of different options now, so I think you're right.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like that big one that everybody gets behind is that's the one. I don't think that's here this year. So my list was interesting.
There's one in theory that it probably should be.
We'll see,
but I don't think it is. We'll see. I don't think it is.
We'll see.
I think it might be. I think it might be
a bunch
for at least one of us.
I'm looking at a list of 39 movies that I watched.
Holy cow! Good for
I watched
you.
about the same amount.
I was on
some big ones.
I was on a tear in the late spring. I went through this phase where I was watching something every day, just bang, 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 bang.
Nice.
And I will tell you, to piggyback off of your sentiment, while I did go to the movies more this year than I have in years past, I also have become strangely agnostic to buying movies or renting them. Yeah. There have been several movies that have come out. I'll go ahead and burn one. I have not seen Trap. I did not watch Trap this year.
Okay.
And as much as I really like to try to cover everything, I just didn't want to rent it, pay for it. When I had so many alternatives to watch for free, to watch on Tubi, to watch on Peacock, to there's so many other things. I was I'll wait. I'll just wait. It's getting easier than ever to just wait. I'm gonna wait on The Crow. I'm gonna wait on Beetlejuice. I'm gonna wait.
I'm gonna tell you, The Crow, you can wait that motherfucker out to infinity.
I still want to watch it. It's somebody who likes the. I've watched them all. I've watched. I
love the first one, and I like the.
Everybody
second one.
does. I like the second one too. I like the. Was it Salvation?
That's the Kirsten Dunst one.
The Kirsten Dunst one. I didn't think was like
that was okay.
It's low budget, but it's
probably
not
the worst of the offerings, though.
Don't worry, it's been beaten. It's been beaten.
Well,
it's been beaten.
I think the first two Crow movies, solid, good movies. I think that the rest of them are.
I have not seen Salvation in forever. I thought Salvation was halfway decent. Maybe I'm misremembering that one.
Well, I mean, if you liked it, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if
the one with Edward Furlong is the worst. That one is terrible.
Yeah, isn't that is that not the Kirsten Dunst one?
No, I don't think so. He is in a movie with Tara Reid.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm confusing.
Wicked Prayer.
Yes, that's
I will
what
tell you this. If I didn't, little spoilers. If I didn't see another movie this year, this would have been my worst movie of the year.
Interesting. I do have that as a question, so we'll get into those.
I know that's why I said
we'll get into those superlatives. Before we did, well, I think we already covered that. So yeah, what's your worst movie of the year? We're gonna do our favorites, but right now, what's your least? What's at the bottom of your list? What did you watch? You were like, this is terrible.
Okay,
it's on my list, so I don't want to say it.
Oh no, okay, well you can hold it. Mine's not.
I'll say mine's right now.
Do it.
Mickey's Mouse Hunt is the worst.
Of course it is.
Piece of shit
I've been trying to tell you that shit all year. You keep trying to make this a thing.
No,
stop it.
I thought it would be a funny movie. Like, look, what was the other one called? The Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. The first one, it was terrible, but it was funny. It was enjoyable because it was funny. This movie is just fucking awful. It is bad. Like it is so bad it's unwatchable. It's like it looks like a college film.
Mm-hmm.
Of somebody who's like dropped out of film school while making the film. And then it got to a point where he had to like return the stuff back, and he like, I guess I'll just use my iPhone now. It's so bad. Like one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
They have this killer who's a mix of Michael Myers and Jason, but is terrible at his job. And then in the middle of the movie, he becomes supernatural. Like, where the fuck did this come from? And then the way they show the supernatural
sounds like a good Jason movie.
Yeah, and the way they show the supernatural abilities is so hilarious. Like, this can't be real. This can't be a real thing. It's bad. Don't see it. It's not even funny bad. It's bad.
Mine is Off Ramp, the Juggalo horror movie about the insane clown posse and their people at the gathering. This is a big reason why I don't ever trust reviews. Having grown up amongst and around the Juggalettes and Juggalos of the world, I am familiar and very aware of the insane clown posse. And when I saw a trailer for a horror movie, I was like, okay, that makes sense. It's probably awful, but that makes sense. And then when it came out, I went to Rotten Tomatoes and found like 10 glowing reviews. Like all people that were like, this movie has a bunch of heart and you're going to learn something and all. I was like, what? No way. Now I have to see it. And then I did, and I regretted it forever. It's awful. It's real bad. I understand what those reviewers are trying to do, but they're really overselling it. It is super weird that it's like halfway a horror film, but not really. And the other half, like trying to make you feel like the dregs of society are good people. Like they're all about like family. And then there's like random like rapping, and the dialogue might be the worst dialogue in any movie ever of all time. I mean, it's real bad. It's real bad.
Mouse Hunt might have you beat.
It might actually, because even as bad as it was, I did finish it. So maybe Mouse Hunt was worse. Okay. Before we get into our top 10 and start breaking them down, is there anything you didn't see? So I'll go ahead and start because I already mentioned I have yet to see Trap. I have yet to see I Saw the TV Glow.
Okay. I'm liking this so far.
I didn't see Beetlejuice. I wanted to, and I'm very excited to. I watched the first one with my wife, and I just didn't get the impression that she was all that into it. So that kind of stopped me from wanting to run to the theaters. I also fully expect that to be out on video on demand by Halloween. So that'll be something I think I'll be able to watch this month.
That so far, the movies you've watched, I've seen.
Nice.
So I think we're gonna have a good blend here.
Yeah,
I like this.
I've got a bunch of others that I didn't watch, but all of the other ones are ones that I haven't come out yet. Or like The Substance was like just came out.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that yet.
Friday.
So
I have a few notable ones that I didn't watch. Specifically 4 of them. I have Longlegs, which I want to watch, but I've been really busy, so I couldn't watch these last 4 was because I was just busy.
sure.
Oddity, which Josh told me about, that I really want to watch as well.
I tried like hell to squeeze that in today.
Oh yeah.
I watched it today.
Oh, you
and
did?
I did get through it. I tried to watch it like a couple days ago, but work was just, it wasn't allowing, wasn't letting me let me do it. So I finished it today. And funny, I mean, we'll save it. But the funny thing about that movie, I was like, I got to get it in before I do my list. And ultimately, it wouldn't have come close to touching my list. So, so like, I was like, wow, I could have just skipped that one.
I was gonna try to get it in today, but my son. Well, I was gonna go. I got tickets to a Dolphins game, and since I was doing this, I gave the ticket to my son, and my brother's gonna take him to the Dolphins game. So I had to
That's
get him
commitment to the bit right there. He was like, sorry, Tua, I've got Decade of Horror tonight.
Goddamn right. Plus, you know, I'm not a big football fan like that, so
Sure.
If it was basketball, I'm like, we have to have a conversation. Like, can I do this while I'm at the game?
What else you got?
Maxine, which I went to see really bad, but my girlfriend would not watch it with me. She was like, well, I don't like how this looks. You're probably right. And The Girl Who Got Away was the last one I went to see that I didn't get a chance to see.
Josh?
My list is too big to list. I'm actually usually I feel like I'm caught up, so I'm looking forward to getting some more from you guys that I know that I can use those recommendations, because I've missed a ton of stuff this year just from time, and there's only a certain time I can watch horror movies in the house, so I can't even really do that regularly.
It's okay.
It's also been a bad year, so not a lot, like things, a lot of detours set up in my way. I think
and me both.
Yeah. I mean, we've all had our own stuff, right? So like, I've seen Donnie's list. A lot of my stuff that I want to watch is on that list. There's movies from last year. I don't even know if Night Swim was this year, but that's on like.
I hate that.
I've heard it's not good, but I want to watch it.
Movie. It's not here. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just like
not good.
I'm gonna say something.
Yeah.
That I hope doesn't offend you. It's like Bloomhouse fucking fodder. Like just they crank out like 7 of these no name, non-important, unmemorable horror movies a year.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
And this is squarely one of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
This is.
And nothing more.
See, and now I learned I can skip it.
It's
generic ass name, generic ass.
Oh my god!
movie.
It's like somebody was sitting in a room throwing darts. They're like, "What if the swimming pool was haunted?"
Yes. Ice
Like,
pick.
I don't know. Like you could swim away. Like what the fuck? Like
Just don't get in the pool.
Yeah.
Cover it with concrete.
Oh, it's so bad. I hated that movie.
Spoilers. That's how they solved the problem.
Yeah. Hey. Okay.
Let's just seal this pool
what
up.
I would do.
Yeah, you could just.
We don't have to use. Yeah, we don't have to use.
Just a dumb movie. Like really just a dumb movie, man.
And see, that's what I want to talk about. Earlier, I saw 40 movies this year, and I hated about a good 30 of them.
Really?
Jeez.
I did not like a lot of movies this year.
So I watched way more than 30. 30 is what I ranked. I ranked 30.
Wow.
I get down to about 22 when I start to like. I kind of getting off the ride here, like 22.
I'm at 22 right now. For
like since I won't talk about it, maybe you guys will. So I hope this doesn't. But like The Strangers, right? They're remaking that. It came out in the theaters. I went to go see it. I love The Strangers. My favorite properties. It's bland and boring as fuck.
Yeah,
that also
like they got rid of everything that made the first one good. Like,
I agree.
Like,
horrible.
It's not gory. It's not scary. It's like a PG-13. It's like it's kind of like what they've done with Scream, or like what is that Netflix series that people were into with the teenagers and stuff?
Stranger Things.
No, not that one. The other one, like the
you're talking about
the 80s series, and the other thing, the Fear Street.
Fear Street. Only one of those is good.
So it's like that. It's like what they did with that, but with The Strangers. It's like made for like 12-year-olds.
It's not good. I don't like it at all.
It's very bad.
And I hate the fact that they're making it. They made the movie specifically to make it a franchise.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, like it's
And
one of
then
those
like
goals,
give
yeah.
you a final girl and all this other stuff. Like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
I don't want this. No.
Yeah. Okay.
So my list will be short. It's just only for lack of not getting what I wanted to.
Delvin's favorite part of the podcast every year, honorable mentions before we get into the top 10. To make this not a 3-hour show, I'll just read you mine. These are the top 10 that didn't make it in descending order. So starting at 20, I have The Watchers. 19, I have Oddity. At 18, I have You'll Never Find Me. 17, I have Immaculate. 16, I have Cuckoo. 15, I have Infested. 14, I have The Conference, which is a good honorable mention for me. I think it's on Netflix. I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it. It just didn't crack the top 10, but I liked it a lot. 13, I have Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving horror movie.
I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot more than Delvin did, apparently. I have it at 13.
That is correct.
At 12, missing it just on the outside, I have Maxine. And then at 11, which is kind of my 10, so I'll save it because I'm kind of cheating this year.
Okay.
So those are my honorable mentions. What about you guys?
Delvin, you go. I have no honorable mentions.
I didn't really have honorable mentions either.
Hang on. We have a chatter. Cygnus here. He says Sting is pretty campy. Listen here. If I hadn't watched the Juggalo movie, Sting would have been the worst horror movie on my list. I kid you not. It's right here at 29.
Wow.
Watch Infested. Infested is way better. I thought Sting was pretty bad.
I also agree. Sting wasn't great. It was bad.
Okay, I can't offer. Sorry, Cygnus. I can't give you my opinion, but it sounds like I would hate it.
Kaiju says Thanksgiving was real cheesy and fun, and I agree.
Yeah, that's Eli Roth, though. That's his definition. Yeah. Cheesy.
It's pretty good.
And a little racist.
Just a little.
Cheesy and fun, a little racist.
Just enough to make it interesting, you know?
Enough, yeah, just enough to be like, that might have been racist.
Those good
you
guys.
have to question if you can like him or not.
Yeah, then you just breeze by it, like whatever. This isn't like the offensive racism. This is like the that was kind of racist.
So what about you guys? What other ones?
I don't really have any.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was hard to come up with 10.
That was super fast.
Yeah.
That was quick. I could have talked about mine more.
You could have. You know what? I will add it's one that Cuckoo. I saw Cuckoo. That would be on the list.
Yeah.
I'll talk about one that I watched that I did not like. Because I know Josh talked about it. Front Room, A24 film with Brandy.
Oh,
I didn't see that. I don't even know what that is.
It's essentially Brandy gets married to this guy and she's pregnant from the guy.
Hang on, before I write it down, is it any good?
No.
Okay, no, I'm not gonna.
I didn't enjoy it.
I didn't even know this was a thing. You're like, I'd be like, wow, there's a movie I hadn't even heard of. That's amazing.
Well, thank you. You don't know it's a thing because you're not on Twitter anymore. But they showed this trailer 1,000 times on Twitter. Like every other tweet was this trailer for this movie. You know, Brandy has a new movie coming out. It's a horror movie. Everybody, like, oh my God, please, Elon, stop.
Brandy's still a thing? I don't think most people know her by one name.
No,
anymore.
she hasn't done anything but she's still going by Brandy though.
Yeah, that's why this was kind of a big deal because she was making another horror film, and it's A24 film. The A24 films are usually pretty decent.
Yeah, we stand for A24 here.
This one is weird, like an A24 film. It's very weird because the whole concept of the movie is Brandy's pregnant, and her husband's a white guy, which is very essential to the story. And her husband's dad dies, and he leaves her the house. He leaves them the house on the condition that they take care of his ex-wife who lives there as well. And she's like 90 years old. And the ex-wife is doing like these weird things in the house.
Why is his wife 90 years old?
Yeah, her husband's father.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
her husband's father died.
What?
Yeah.
How did this man marry this 90-year-old and then turn her in for Brandy? Like I'm so compelled.
So the concept is they leave. They got to take care of the ex-wife, right? And the ex-wife is doing these weird things. Yeah, the grandma.
There we go.
And she's doing these weird things in the house.
Because old people are scary.
Yeah. Yes.
And I hate when I say that, but like we've established this in horror lore. Old people are scary. They're just terrified.
And she's like outwardly racist. Like she used to be part of the Klan and stuff like that. Some story
She's
point.
90 years old.
Yeah. So
like you come to expect it at a certain age. You're like, okay.
Yes. Well. So you have the idea of her, Brandy's having this guy's child, and she's kind of antagonistic towards her, and the whole story of them kind of being antagonistic towards each other, and the grandmother doing things, weird things. And the story at the end, with the ending, I think it's interesting. The story flips in a way that you don't expect, and like, oh, okay, that's kind of.
But you said it's bad.
I didn't like it. I don't think it's worth.
Then why are we
watching.
still talking about it? Like, let's not talk for 14 minutes about a terrible.
I'm bringing it up because I know there are people who will probably see the show like, oh, this looks interesting. I want to watch it. I don't think it's worth watching it for the ending. Yes.
Like, no, don't do it. It's like the Interstellar moment. Go back.
Yes. Go back. Exactly. Go back.
Okay. Let's see here. Do either of you care to hear anything about any of my honorable mentions before we move forward?
Sure.
I'm asking, like, is there anything in particular?
Pick your favorite honorable mentions. Like ones you think people should watch.
It's probably The Conference. The Conference is like this. I think it's a Netflix mem. I definitely watched it on streaming. It's somewhere for free. I think it's Netflix. You can watch The Conference. It's like a Swedish, Danish, I don't know, some European resort where like businesses go to have like staff retreats. And then there's a killer and it starts killing everybody with like stupid ways. There's like a mascot running around and like it gets real dumb, real fun, like real fast.
It is Netflix, yeah.
But it is funny dumb. And I kind of enjoyed it. I was like, this is pretty funny for something I'd never heard of before. I liked Infested. I thought Infested is one of the better creature features I've seen in some time. It's way better than Sting. And Maxine, I think, is my least favorite in the series so far.
Bummer.
Which is a shame because I was over the moon for it when it was announced, but it just kind of wasn't there. The ending, like all things horror, the ending just kind of runs off a cliff, kind of falls apart there at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into it. Let's start our roundtable. Top 10. Who wants to go first? How do you want to do it?
I'll go first.
Okay, you go.
Okay.
So I'll go first, Donnie second, and Josh third. And we'll just
got it.
Rotate like that. My number 10 is Abigail.
On my list.
I
Much
really it took me a while to figure out why I liked the movie. Because, you know, on the surface, it's kind of a generic horror movie, but with an interesting twist to it.
Sure.
But the twist kind of keeps me compelled. The reason why, in my opinion, I'll let you talk about it more in detail about why you like it. But the reason why it's so low on my list is because I really did not like the ending. The ending really kind of turned me off to the film completely. Like the whole, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, the ending, I liked it for all of it until that last act. When that last act hit and everything happened, that last act, like, all right, this is not for me no more. But otherwise, I thought the whole movie was great.
Interesting. I liked it. I thought the girl in particular, she really sells the movie. She's a lot of fun to watch. It's an interesting concept. I'm not like super vampire guy. I don't mind them particularly, but like I think of all the hosts that are Decade of Horror hosts, I think I'm probably like least vampire person. And I liked it. So like that's goes a long way for me because I mean, if I was recommending vampire movies to somebody else, like this would probably be in my top 5 or 6 picks.
Okay.
So nice. I liked it a lot. The dancing, the ballerina part was super entertaining.
That was great.
Yeah. And it was, and I mean, I'm going to talk about it later, but I won't talk about it as long. Super bloody, which I loved. It's actually something that I think is missing from several other movies on my list this year. Ooh, super bloody, and I loved it a lot. So cool. Josh, 10.
My number 10 is Watchers, believe it or not. Okay. It probably wouldn't be on this list if I have watched 11 horror movies this year, but here we are. I give her some credit, like for a first-time director. That name carries a lot of weight too.
It was M. Night's daughter, right?
It's his daughter. Yeah, it's her first film, and I do think that there's some fun stuff in it, but from go, it was very predictable, very even like boring. Just like having to accept the fact that these people are choosing to not leave this place, like to fight to get out of there as much as possible. That they didn't. I don't think they really like addressed it enough in the movie for it to make sense. They were just like, "Oh yeah, I've been here for this many months. Oh, okay." And you and your husband don't care that you've been here for this long. Like, why are you not trying to get out every day? So I don't know. I had some issues with that, the continuity part of that, or like the logic part.
Well, I think they did, right? They did try to leave, and then
some like the husband did,
but he died and went missing, so they stopped
some
trying.
of them. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true.
What is the? They're like the monster, like the shapeshifter.
It was what were they, fairies, or I think?
Yeah, they were fairies. But what is
fairies.
the thing that we call the shapeshifters so often, like in lore? They're in New Mexico and stuff. Like, I forget the name. Skinwalker?
Oh, Skinwalker. Skinwalker. Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought they were like trying to go for, and then they went all like into fairy lore and stuff.
Yeah.
It was 20 on my list for a reason. I didn't hate it. I thought
I didn't hate it.
I liked some of it. But it
was fine.
It was okay.
Yeah. Yep. So that's my number 10. Big 10 watchers.
All right. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, I have a movie on this list that did not come out this year. But I liked it a lot. I do too. I'm going to talk about it. So I'm going to give you kind of two here, just to catch me up. So if my movie from 2017 wasn't on this list, my number 10 would be Stopmotion.
Okay.
Which you can watch that one on Shudder. And did you guys do Shudder this year?
Yeah,
I did.
I did.
One of my movies is from Shudder
for the first time on YouTube, and I'm enjoying it a lot. Like I may keep it. I like watching. The more and more things that I can put into YouTube as opposed to having to go elsewhere, like I'm getting used to like I just kind of want to do this, you know. But I like stop motion a lot. The story is good. It is a very tense story over like creator and like creator vision and how like being a perfectionist and like how that inner like torment can be to like the artist, which I appreciate, like that kind of sort of theme. But the sell of the movie is this stop motion animation stuff that they do and the material that they use, and it looks so wet and gross and fleshy, and like in the way that they do that, they really sell the story. And the story, I don't want to call it predictable, but I would just say it's like basic, you know, like the overall plot. It's really what they're showing you that sells the plot even further. Like it really gets you invested with this little girl and this little depraved stuff that she does with the little figures and stuff, and like the lengths that this woman goes to. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Stop motion was pretty good. So that would be 10. So in the place of that 10, I have A Quiet Place Day 1.
Okay.
Oh,
that's on my list too.
Sure.
I liked it a lot. It was really cool to go to the theaters. It did the thing that I wanted it to do, the thing I've always wanted to do. I think every time we ever see a monster movie, I always want to know the origin. Where did the monsters come from? How did they get here? What happened? Like, I want to see the outbreak. They showed it. I wish they showed more.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want like Quiet Place, but just Cloverfield. I just want Cloverfield. Yeah. Like, I honestly just want like like anything that does anything like Cloverfield would be great. But the story is good. It's a small story with a very tight number of casts, right? It's a very intimate story, I would say.
Yeah.
I like how they sell the silence part with this one. Like, this is the third movie, right? We have Quiet Place, Quiet Place 2.
Yes,
this is the prequel. I like how they sold the silent stuff with this one. They add in a few different elements that honestly feel like video gaming. Like you can like with like the rain and the thunder and like there's cool stuff there. And I enjoyed it. It was a fun trip to the movie theaters. So
this is also my list.
That gets me up to par. So now as you guys start going around with your 9s, I can be there with you.
All right, I guess I'll give my number 9. My number 9 is Imaginary.
Oh, okay.
Have y'all heard
of
this movie?
It's on my list to watch. I didn't watch it, but it's on my list to watch.
Okay. The concept of this movie is just about this girl who has this imaginary friend who's this teddy bear.
Imaginary is 37 for me.
Whoa, low.
I the thing about it,
pod would go like this. I like it, but I did not like that movie.
I will tell you like this. I liked it, and this is the same thing I had with Abigail, all the way up to the ending.
That's just horror movies.
There are some horror movies on here that I like the ending a lot, and I think my top 5 kind of reflects me liking the ending a lot. This one, the ending threw me off so much because there was a point where I thought it was going to end. I'm like, oh, if it ends right here, this is kind of fucking awesome. This is like really dark and awesome. And then like, nah, we're not doing that. And it wasn't like, I'm like, no, go back to what you were going to do. And like, no, we're going to have this happy ending and rainbows and sunshine. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. But I like the fact that, we're getting more horror. Let's speak about it a little bit more. I like the fact that we're getting more black women protagonists in horror films. I like that this movie had that kind of real feel to it. I like that everything seemed off about it. And it's something that you see kids do every day when they're talking to their imaginary friend. And you don't kind of realize how creepy it is. And this movie kind of puts that in context, like, why are they getting these things that you don't think they know anything about from it?
I think I've seen that 2 dozen times in horror movies.
Yes.
Like every scary movie with a kid has a imaginary friend, doll, toy, something the kid is putting, paranormal entities into.
Yes.
So I was
Child's Play does a good job with that.
Bored. I was like, same thing.
I enjoyed it because it explained it in this movie.
You like the motivation.
The motivation, where it went to it, and I thought where it went was really cool. All the way up until it got to the ending part. Like, But yeah, I think it's worth watching for that. I thought it was enjoyable up to that part, though.
Okay, cool. I'm glad you liked it. Glad somebody did, because I did not. Josh, number 9.
Hey, mine is this movie. Here's my fingers work.
Imaginary.
Right Ghostbusters.
Oh, Ghostbusters.
I know it's not horror, but it's horror adjacent.
It works.
And depending on your age, it also can certainly.
My wife really wanted to see it, and I was
very good.
I did not like Frozen Empire.
I am not going to the movie theaters to see that.
I guess I get to take my son, so it had a little bit extra.
Sure.
Of a moment, it's taking a 7-year-old.
I remember the trailer. The first time I saw the trailer for about 10 seconds, I was like, "Oh shit, is this like a new Day After Tomorrow movie?" And then it's like ghosts and they're back, and I was like, "Oh, never mind."
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I know it's not horror, but I do think
it's comedy horror kind of.
It's comedy horror. It's this new franchise. It's like this new trilogy for Ghostbusters.
I haven't seen any of them. None of them.
The Afterlife,
I haven't seen
so Afterlife and this one, those are the two like of the new trilogy. So I think that's great, but it's very much like it feels like if J.J. Abrams did Ghostbusters, right? Like it's like Super 8 or Stranger Things. It capitalizes on the youth thing, and it's great. And they do bring the Ghostbusters in like a good way, not a cheesy, forced into you way. It's just like a very organic.
I like Super 8.
Include them. Yeah,
so maybe I will like it. I like Super 8.
So I would say, I think you like Afterlife. Afterlife is basically Super 8, but with ghosts. It's very good. It's not as good as Super 8. Super 8.
Yeah, I think I've not watched them out of like protection. Like I don't want to feel worse about the old movies. So like I kind of just, I'm good. I'll turn it off. Like let me have the memory I have. Untainted, unbothered, untouched by anything else.
Yeah.
I don't want what has happened to so many of our other favorite franchises to happen to Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it will. I mean, give it long enough.
Yeah, they're gonna keep making. I know. Yeah, they're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, number 9 on my list is the movie that I was talking about earlier. That I believe. Let me see if I have this right. It came out in 2017, directed by David Frayne. This is a movie called The Cure. The Cured, starring Elliot Page.
Oh,
really?
This is a zombie movie that dares to ask the question, after the zombie apocalypse is over, how do we reintegrate these zombie people back into society?
Oh,
this movie screams like Lost 28 Days Later sequel. Really? Like it just feels like that. Like if you were to just be like, you watch 28 Days Later, you watch 28 years later, and then this, like it feels right at home, kind of in that universe. It's even like it's got like that Euro British look, and the actors, like it feels right there. And when I caught it, I think I watched on Tubi, and I was like, holy shit, how have I never heard of this movie? And I like what they do. Like I like it's very political, and you've like the zombie people that have been cured, but like they play with it. But are they cured? Are they not cured? You've got us versus them, and I really liked it. I was like, this is like very evolutionary Dawn of the Dead shit, and I was digging it. So I wanted to shout it out and give it its place, even though it's not from 2024. But like I said, nobody listens anyway, so I'll do whatever the fuck I want with the list. And I put it on the list.
Like Jaws 2.
My number 9 movie was The Cured. I liked it a lot, and I would wholly recommend it to others.
Nice. Cool.
You might like this TV show called In the Flesh. It's the same premise. Same premise. Very same premise. It's very good now. I really enjoyed it when I watched it. It came out like in 2010.
Interesting. Cool. We're on 8.
What, 8?
Number 8.
I just get, or 7, because I get 10 and 8. Yeah.
No, yeah, 8. We're on 8.
Okay. So my number 8.
Number 8
would be
the Ocho.
Beetlejuice.
Okay, Beetlejuice.
The thing about Beetlejuice is I really like Beetlejuice a lot. I think it's gory, violent, but it's not scary. It's fun. It's comedy horror.
That's interesting. Yeah. I would have never called Beetlejuice gory.
I was gonna say we're talking about
Beetlejuice. It's very gory for what it is.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second one, but the first one I would never say anything gory about it.
Yeah.
It's almost. I mean, it's Burton. It's Muppet-esque.
It's Muppet-esque. Yeah. I wouldn't call it scary, but there are elements of it that are like really like gory. Like there's a part in the movie where a person's whole top of their body is bitten off.
Yeah.
And it's blood squirting out from. That's like, yeah.
They have blood?
Yeah, blood.
Not like green blood or black blood. They have real blood, like drenched in blood, like Evil Dead blood.
Yes. That's
interesting. Yeah, because they didn't do anything like that in the first one.
It's done for jokes, of course, but it's.
You're getting roasted.
This dude really put Beetlejuice over Abigail, bro.
I am not taking opinions from a man who plays on his goddamn phone.
We have calls for a member to stand down.
Absolutely not. But yes, I thought Beetlejuice
was back Lucas chants are about to start ringing.
I thought Beetlejuice was very entertaining. I think it's comedy horror, and I think it's fun. I think they did a really good job adapting the formula of Beetlejuice to this generation. I think if you watched the original movies and liked it, you'll like this one a lot.
Yeah, I imagine that I'm gonna like it. I love Beetlejuice for the weird.
It's weird,
like
very
the shrunken head dude and the cut in half woman and stuff. Like that's the shit that I just love.
Yes, if you like that stuff, all of that's in here. And
my wife was like, I never see you light up. She's like, you just light up staring at this little dude. I'm like, he's so fucking funny. She's like, he doesn't say anything. I was like, he doesn't have to. He's sitting there with a little bitty head, man. Look at him.
Yeah,
he's head
Bob. He's great.
Yeah, he's the best.
And they have a couple of cameos in the movie that are really fun and great.
That's good.
I really
It'll be hard to replace the family, Kevin's mother, Miss McAllister.
Catherine O'Hara.
Yes.
Catherine O'Hara. That'd be tough. Is she in the new one?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. And then what is the writer, right? Winona
Ryder's in it, yeah.
Everybody from the original, except the, of course, the family who actually lived in the house and died.
Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis didn't come back.
Yeah, because obviously the movie ended with them. But yeah, everybody from the original movie came back in some sort of way or form.
Cousin Cecil says it's the best comedy he's seen this year. That's high praise. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good. It's really entertaining.
I'm thinking I might, if it's out by Halloween, which like you have to think it is, right?
If they want to make money, it will be.
Right. This might be what I put in the driveway, like while trick-or-treaters. Yeah, like I'll just have it playing in the driveway.
It's a good one to do that with. Yeah. It's a very good Halloween movie to play.
That's why I was kind of waiting on it. I was like, I can just probably just watch it then. Cool. All right. Josh, the Ocho.
Hey, Apartment 7A, which just came out.
Another one I haven't heard of at all.
I have not heard of this one either.
It is a prequel to Rosemary's Baby.
Ooh.
Okay. It just came out with the girl who I always confuse Caitlin Dever with, Julie Garner. She was in Justified, I believe. It's good. It has I would say like Suspiria vibes to it, or like even like Last Night in Soho vibes to it.
Nice.
It's a period piece. And if you know Rosemary's Baby, you kind of know the story, but it's essentially about the first time that they did this to a woman. At least that's what you think when you're watching. I don't want to give any spoilers. It's very well made. It's on Paramount Plus. So it's not. I don't know if it went to theaters, but I think it might just be direct to streaming. But that doesn't make it bad. That just means they didn't have confidence in a theatrical release, which I get. It's not like a big named actor headlining it. So I think for what it is, has some good suspense and some like what if moments. It really keeps you on the edge of your seat. So for that reason, it's up above with the Watchers and Ghostbusters.
My wife loves Rosemary's Baby, so I will add this to our list.
Yeah.
This is the first I've heard of it.
Okay, cool.
Which is why I love this podcast.
Yeah.
I want to shout out the chat. Cousin Cecil says Azrael's really good.
I wanted
to watch it. Yeah, I wanted to watch it.
That's
so bad.
on my list to watch.
Comes to Shudder October 27th, which is why I didn't go see it. So you won't even have to wait that long. It's like 20 days you'll be able to watch it.
Just wait. Yeah, wait it out.
Yep. Okay, so we're down to 7, right? No, it's my 8.
You got to do your 8.
Yeah. My 8 is Dream Scenario. The second appearance for Nicolas Cage on my top 10.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen or heard of this?
I've seen it, yes. I didn't love it.
Oh, okay. Dream Scenario is a movie where Nicolas Cage plays a professor and everybody starts having dreams of the professor like in their dreams, Delvin.
Okay.
So it starts off like very...
That sounds weird.
Oh, it's super weird. It starts off very minimal.
Yeah.
It's like his daughter's like, "Hey, you were in my dream last night." And he's like, "Well, what happened?" And I forget what happened. It's like a car wreck or something. He's like, "Yeah, you just sat there." He's like, "That's so weird." And he's very much like, I feel like that liberal Ivy League professor. Like he wants to be very in tune. Like, "Oh no, I don't like this about myself. Like, let's go to let's see a therapist. Let's see a shrink. Like, let's fix this, right?" And then it keeps going. And then his students start having dreams of him. One student dreams of fucking the dude. And then they keep having dreams. And all of a sudden, now in people's dreams, he's murdering them. And he's killing them like it's brutal. He's cutting their heads off and shit. And the plot of the matter of the movie is really kind of about cancel culture. Because as the crowd, as the populace around him starts to turn on him, he starts facing pressure to leave work. He loses his job. He loses his family. And none of this is anything he has anything to do with. He's like, I didn't do any of these crimes. These are your dreams. Why am I suffering? Like he can't go in town anymore. Nobody wants to eat near. He's become a social pariah. Right. And then there's the effects of that. So there's the effects of this, and then there's the effects of the dreams and the people. I thought it was interesting. I think maybe to pull a word, it's a unique gimmick. I think Nicolas Cage does an excellent job of selling it, and I liked it. it. So that would be my number 8, Dream Scenario. It's on Max. You can watch it on HBO.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. I'll check that one out. My number 7 is a movie called Night Shift. It came out last year.
Yeah.
And it's on Shudder right now. What
Shift.
it is I really
I feel like I've watched this.
You got another vampire movie on your list.
No, Donnie's looking it up.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Keep going. Like I feel like I've watched it, but like maybe I haven't.
Yeah, the concept of this movie is this girl gets caught to work on this night shift by her friend at a hotel, and as she's working the hotel, it's like a motel. It's like a rundown, beady motel. You know, people go out there and fuck and do other shit there, illegal activities and stuff like that. And as the night goes on, she's seeing these weird things happen at the hotel. And it looks like a murder or something like that happened. And she's trying to figure out what goes on. And what ends up happening is, without spoiling it, what one of the things about this movie I like a lot is the end of it flips the whole story on its head. And I really dug the ending of it. Like, oh, that's what's going on. And I liked how dark the movie got.
So this isn't vampires. This is ghosts, right? Is it vampires? It's not vampires, right?
I don't want to spoil what it is.
Once I started looking at stills, I realized I hadn't seen this.
I was thinking there's another Night Shift vampire movie.
Yes,
I think the name is very similar to something else I've watched.
But yeah, it's on Shudder. But I don't want to spoil the hook on it. But once you find out what's going on, like, oh, that's pretty interesting.
Cool.
And how they play off of that.
Nice.
Awesome.
I like
Josh.
What are we at? Number 7.
7.
I should know because I can just look at what I haven't said yet. So this might surprise Donnie, maybe. My number 7 is In a Violent Nature.
That's on my list.
Hang on. Number 24 for me.
Okay, so
I didn't talk about it. I didn't
Yeah.
talk about it at all in the Discord because I want to save it for the podcast, but I did watch this when it came out on Shudder.
Yeah.
And did not like it.
I didn't love it. I'll be honest.
Very divisive movie. Like that seems to be the trend for this movie. You either like it a lot,
yes,
you think it's very innovative, or you don't like it at all. And count me in
it's
the
geared
latter.
towards a very specific group of people, and that's just the Jason Voorhees fanboys.
Crazy
They don't care about the substance; they just care about the kills. But I would argue, I did like some of this. It's basically like, hey, do you want to see that Mortal Kombat fatality from Mortal Kombat 11 in a movie? Because that's what we've done in this movie. We're just doing.
They do have that kill scene, which give it props. That like it goes.
Yeah, there's some
hard.
great kill scenes, but then there's also like, I'm like, oh, that one girl
Meandering
got off.
for
That one
40
girl got off
minutes.
easy. All she did was get drowned. Everyone else got brutally
the movie,
murdered.
I mean, for me, I'm going to say the things that everybody that knows that people don't like about it have probably already read.
Yeah.
The movie just meanders around for 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty slow and boring.
It's
for a lot of it.
it's one of those things where it's like somebody had the idea. I honestly I feel like I could pitch it. You got writers in a writing room, right? They're smoking, they're high,
Yeah,
and they're like, "What if we did Jason, but from Jason's perspective?"
right.
And I was like, and when you hear that pitch, you're like, "That's good." But in execution,
Yeah,
I don't think it was, because here's the thing. One, I wasn't like happy to see that they stray from the bit. I was expecting like POV movie. Like
yes, yeah.
the view of the killer. It's not. It's like
It's over the
randomly
shoulder.
there's third person cameras set up all over the place.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing him in a field and walking around building. I'm like, okay, well, this isn't that then. This
Yeah.
isn't what you're being sold. And then outside of the kill scenes, which are good, without, it's funny to say, like, to bring up like character development and stuff, but at least with the other movies that it's trying to imitate, because of the stereotypes, we understand the roles of the campers and which role they play. And in a movie like this, you really don't. They're just bystanders, like they're just there. They're NPCs. You don't know anything about them. So it just kind of felt, it's like you talk about the motivation and the payoff. It's like there is none.
Yeah,
It's just walking around killing people.
yeah. I mean, I liked it enough over those other movies because I do think there's some redeeming qualities in there, like the parts where they're really showcasing, like if you're watching this movie in the perspective of the killer, right? Like they want you to view it that way. So you do see like how he's just kind of this thing built on one purpose, right?
Yeah.
The driving force for this character. So I did appreciate that aspect. It's just like I'm just doing this to do this, and that's how you would picture someone who could do the awful things that they do. Like they have to be mindless, right, to be able to do those things. And I appreciated how they played with how quiet the movie was, so you could hear like proximity conversations as to like how he would hear things. So you're like coming up onto a conversation that he's like hearing as he's approaching. And I think, while not great world building, I think it was kind of unique the way they played with that
It
as
is
well.
unique. Obviously, yeah, but it is unique. That's
And then the walking through the lake, like silly. I thought it was kind of silly, but I was like, that's very sci-fi of them to do that, and I thought it was pretty funny. Like Sci-Fi Channel, like, hey, this
It is
is
very
a
Sci-Fi
generic thing we would do, but I thought it was effective at getting a laugh at least. So I enjoyed it for some things, but I also was expecting a lot more when I heard the buzz about it. I was like, oh, this is going to be like a top 5 movie.
Yeah, and maybe
fun.
that might have played into my thing, because I was expecting, like, this was on my, at one point I thought I was going to see it in theaters.
Yeah.
And then when the reviews came out, I was like, maybe I should hold off, and I'm really glad I did, because I would have been upset if I'd seen it in theater.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, me too.
I would have been like, dude, this sucked. I wasn't like that bad. I was
bored.
like, it's okay. It's something. It's unique. It's doing its own thing. I didn't love it, right? But I wasn't like. But if I had paid money to see it, I would have been angry.
Sure. I get that.
My number 7. I'm interested to see if it's on your list. This might be the first time where we have a movie on somebody else's list, or at least I hope it is, because I think it's one of the best ones this year.
There was one on my list that Josh said.
Oh, was there? Did I?
You just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Lisa Frankenstein.
I really wanted to see it. I just didn't get around.
Haven't seen
it.
From the director debut, Zelda Williams.
Yeah.
Comes Lisa Frankenstein. There's this very
Robin
Winona
Williams'
Ryder
daughter?
type.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. This is her first. Like, she's done some directing and writing as like a co. This is her first. Like, this is her directorial debut. And I think, honestly, the style of the movie is incredible. That's actually one of the best things about it. The vibe, the mood, the music, like the visuals, very very good. There is this Winona Ryder girl, Lisa, who falls in love with this reanimated corpse, and then they go and do Halloween, Bride of Frankenstein things that you like. It's very like, we've seen this sort of shtick before, but it's very good. It's very like wholesome and charming, and like I said, the movie overall has a really cool vibe and style to it, which really sells it in a different way. Maybe less known about this movie, co-written by Diablo Cody, who wrote Juno, Burlesque, 2013's Evil Dead with Fady, and Jennifer's Body, which this movie is set in that universe. This is in the same universe as Jennifer's Body, which is a cult classic.
That's cool.
Yeah, I really liked it. If you've got like preteens, teenagers at home, kids that like want to see something spooky but not scary, but like kind of, this is a great teen screen choice. Like, this is a great pick for that. I think especially like girls still love story, right? So there's definitely like that twin too. So if you're looking for something that's not going to be like super gory and scary and keep people up at night, Lisa Frankenstein is a great option. Shelf worthy, in my opinion. Like this is one you'd want to buy. Put it in your collection.
Cool.
Dope. We'll check it out. All right. My number 6 is I Saw the TV Glow.
Okay. Nice. Very cool.
I think it's a really fascinating coming of age story about got a really interesting hook to it, about kind of trying to find out who you are and where you fit in, and it's a really deep story. My only thing about this movie is it's not really scary. It's not scary at all.
This is more your opinion that you shared on the podcast when you watched it is what kept me from watching it.
Yeah.
This is very high on my to-do list. The actors are in Rings of Power.
Yeah.
I like the look. Like, I was like, I want to watch it. Delvin came on. He's like, I watched it. And he's like, it's kind of not a scary movie, which I was already afraid of, because when you see it, you're like, it kind of isn't. And
it's thought-provoking.
And the reviews were kind of middling. So I was like, I'll wait. And I just hadn't seen it pop up in any of my feeds anywhere since. So
yeah, it's thought-provoking. It's social commentary on certain things in society. And it's billed as a horror film, but it is not, in fact, a horror film.
Which, if I may tangent, I got to tell you, I think this started last year. I hope I land this plane well and I don't look like a fucking cynical ass for saying this.
Okay. Get out of your head. Just get it out.
I'm getting kind of tired of like societal trauma being used as like the horror movie thing now.
Yeah.
I don't know if others feel that way. It's just like, we've gone through this. It's been a trend for a while now, and now I'm kind of over it. You know, it's like, I get it. Life sucks and everything. And I'm not trying to demean it. Bad things happen to people, and they're bad people out there. But it's like, can you make drama or suspense or thriller? Can you make something else about this instead of just trying to turn all of them into horror movies? Because like, I kind of would like to have some fun horror movies back. Like I'd like to make some good horror movies again. It just seems like this has just become like everything that's wrong with society. Like they're like, let's turn it into a horror movie and exploit the shit out of it. And I'm kind of over it. And I don't know if that's the TV glow, but like every time I see, and I didn't get that impression when I saw the TV glow. So I'm not trying to aim this at the TV glow because I still want to see it. But when I see trailers that do that, you know, I'm just like, okay, like it's honestly, it's like a no sell for me. I'm like, I don't want to see this anymore.
Yeah, I get that. I won't say this is that, but this is more. I'll give the concept without trying to spoil it. The whole concept of the movie is there's this kid who's played by what the kid name is from the Pokemon movie and all that stuff.
Justice Smith.
Hang on, I think Sean talking to me. He says example.
Yeah,
the movie that comes to mind when I think about this most, and it's honestly kind of. It's not even right there. It's more like under. It's like under the surface is Renfield.
Yeah,
Renfield like kind of did it for me. Where I was like, okay, can we stop talking about like mental health and shrinks and therapists and meds and like we fucking get it. Mental health's real. Can we have our horror movies back? You know, like it's like honestly, it's like I've seen so many horror movies like this where it's like I feel like I'm subliminally being told to go see a therapist. They're like, hey, this thing you like. You probably shouldn't like this. There's something wrong with you. Like you need medicine.
Would you put like, bodies on that category too?
I would.
Yeah.
I would. It was novel at first. At first you were like, oh, this is cool. It's neat. It was honestly like almost like a throwback.
Yeah.
Right. Like it was very like a 70s thing to do. But I feel like those classic movies did it subliminally. They weren't so on the nose. Now it's like racism is bad. Here's the racism horror movie. Sexism is bad. Here's the sexism horror movie. It's like, no, we get it. We got it. Child abuse is bad. Here's the child abuse horror movie. And it's like, here's the clairvoyant kid who grew up as an abusive and now is going to seek revenge with their ghost friends. It's like, I'm over it.
That kind of sounds badass. Get your ghost friends together and seek revenge.
Get your ghost friends. Yeah. You didn't see that? It was Lord of the Rings. You didn't see the movie? Yeah. Like it just, I kind of over it.
Yeah. But the concept of this movie is Justice Smith is this kid, and throughout the story you watch him grow up. He meets this girl, and the girl introduces him to this TV show that's kind of like this almost like Josie and the Pussycats, one of those like Nickelodeon TV shows. That's like that's really interesting for them, and they keep watching this show over and over again. They watch it every day until it gets to like the last episode, and once the last episode airs, they get really into the show, and they just go home and talk about the show. And they just obsess about the show. And then as time goes on, they start noticing weird things about the show and certain aspects of the show change. And it gets really trippy and weird. But it's a really interesting story. But like I said, it's not scary. I wouldn't call it horror. It's deemed horror. It's not scary. I think it's just a really good social commentary movie on certain elements of society. But I wouldn't
like I said, I don't want my little tangent to be felt like I haven't watched the movie yet. So I don't want this movie to pay for that.
I will say this.
I'm going to watch this movie because I want to see it. I just haven't seen it pop up on the streaming services yet.
I wouldn't watch it if I'm expecting to watch a scary horror murder film, anything like that. Spoilers.
Yeah.
I think out of all the whole movie, one person probably dies, if that.
I got you.
It is on Max now too, Donnie. They just put it on last weekend.
See, there you go. I've been waiting to watch it, waiting for it to pop up, and it just hadn't popped up yet.
Same.
Cool.
Okay. My number 6 is Abigail. Really caught me by surprise. I didn't expect to like it, but it also fits in this genre of horror now that is like, what's that movie I really like with Samara Weaving?
Ready or Not?
Ready or Not. Like, I love Ready or Not.
I just love Samara Weaving. I'm going to watch anything she does.
Yeah,
like,
she's the best.
Like, she's really great.
Yeah. But I think Abigail has the same vibes as Ready or Not.
It is.
In a different way.
I actually think, did the directors do the same?
It would make sense if they did. But you got a good story.
Matt Bettinelli Olpin and Tyler Gillett directed Scream 5, 6. They worked on VHS and Southbound.
Okay.
And they are the lead directors for Ready or Not.
There you go. Yeah. So it makes perfect sense. And then you get Melissa Barrera in there too. So I didn't know. Actually, it's like the reverse worked for me. The marketing of this versus the spoiler. Like the marketing was like, and the spoiler is like, hey, this girl is a vampire. But you could see that coming like right away, I think. What was surprising to me was I didn't realize it was like a heist horror movie. And there's so much more going on besides Abigail. And I still like movies like that where they play with strangers having to work together and having to deal with those personalities, but in a horror setting.
Sure.
So I really like that
mouse thing.
Yeah, and I think all the actors and Catherine Newton from Lisa Frankenstein's also in it. And she was great. And like I think all the characters, a room full of character actors doing a really good job at being shady and not trusting each other and doing stupid things. Really enjoyed it. So it surprised me. I think you're muted, Donnie.
Yes, you are muted.
Yeah.
I'm talking to my wife. I'm to my daughter.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think you're trying to talk to us.
All hell's breaking loose. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I thought for what it was, like it was on your list, right, Delvin? Was it lower?
It was number 9.
9. Okay. So yeah, I mean, you're close.
To
to
Abigail for me is number 5.
Oh, so nice. Okay, so right around the same area. Yeah, I mean, great job with that movie. It's nice to have fun movies like that too, like Megan's, and if it's gonna just all be named,
that's exactly like
female
where
characters
I would really put this in there, and I think it's way better than Megan.
Yeah, agreed. Not a spoiler. It was in the trailer. Yeah.
And I'll add in one more because I did write this down for me. Abigail grossed $42.5 million on a $28 million budget.
Great, awesome. Good. So there'll be another one.
It deserves it.
Yeah. I also loved. I mean, it's going to be my number 5, so we're about to get there in a minute. So when we go to our number 5, I'll just skip over it. But Abigail, I also love her design.
Yes.
The look is great.
It is
really good. And I've been telling you, man, buckets of blood.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to bring up later, but like, man, Abigail delivered in that regard.
Yes,
and in a year where I kind of expected so many others to, like Abigail is the star of that show. You know, and it's just like, wow, I didn't expect that at all. I expected like PG-13 horror movie, and it's like, no, it's not that. Yeah. You know, it's Evil Dead levels of blood. It's like everywhere. Literally buckets.
Yeah.
Okay. So my daughter just came in, let the dogs in. Everything just went nuts. What are we on? 6?
You're on your number 6. I'll be on my number 5.
My number 6 is Longlegs.
Okay.
This is the movie for Rob 3000. 1,000%. This just is Alan Wake, the fucking movie.
Oh.
Like if you're really into, obviously it's not Alan Wake like the movie, but if you really liked Alan Wake 2, and you really like Alan Wake, and you're into that true detective, true crime, horror, Silence of the Lambs type thing, this movie just gives you that, all of it. Just here's a bunch of it and just really enjoy it. It's really good at it. The plot is good. I do think it's a bit predictable, but that's okay. That's not a bad thing. Sometimes,
really? Okay, interesting.
The acting is very good. And then obviously you have Nicolas Cage, who makes his second appearance on my list here as this evil villain guy who's pretty demented, has a pretty crazy look. Like Renfield, I would say I could have used more.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, he's not the star of the movie. He definitely overshadows, but he's not there a whole lot.
Yeah.
This is like I said, a true detective type of horror movie. Are you into that slow build, slow burn investigation type thing? Because if you're not, you might be bored. If you are, like my wife, you might be on the edge of your seat. She loved it.
I am.
Yeah.
So I liked it. Not as much as the other ones, but you know, respect. Longlegs was good. Grossed 108 million worldwide, becoming Neon's highest grossing film to date, the highest indie flick gross this year of all movies.
That's
not
great.
Just horror movies. So it's a success story, whether you liked it or not. Longlegs was a smashing success.
Yeah.
And so you guys are about to go to number 5. So let me just Abigail. Abigail was my number 5. I've said all the things that I said about it. So you guys can go, and then I'll go to my number 4.
Nice.
my number 5 is Trap.
Okay.
Ooh, I hadn't seen it.
I really enjoyed this movie. It's essentially, if they were to make a Dexter movie, this is kind of what it is. Like, and I really, first of all, shout out to M. Night Shyamalan for like, hey, I'm going to make a movie with a concert, and the concert is going to be performed by my daughter, who's trying to make a career for herself. Like, oh, yeah. That's kind of, so the movie's kind of like a dedication to her. Like, she's an integral part of the movie, and the whole concept of the movie is this dad is taking his daughter, who's a big fan of, who's M. Night Shyamalan's. Oh, you get ready to get lit. It's about to have some fun. Big fan of this girl. I think her name's Shalika. And that's his daughter's real name. Is big fan of this star, right? So they're going to see her concert. Yeah, essentially Taylor Swift.
Right. That was my impression from the trailer.
And they go to the show.
Chaperone.
And then he notices that you've seen this in the trailer, so I can tell. He notices that there's a lot of security guards and stuff there. And then they tell him, and then he goes and asks one of the T-shirt guys, "Well, these security guys are cops here for?" And they're like, "Oh, we're looking for the butcher. This crazy serial killer." I don't know why this black guy's just telling, well, that's kind of what they do sometimes. We're looking for this crazy serial killer named the Butcher because they said he was going to be at the party. He's going to be at this concert, and we want to catch him. And this whole concert was just a plan to catch him. So the next kind of like hour or so of this movie is just him trying to figure out how he got this concert while his daughter figuring out what's going on, with her having a good time and them not catching him. So it's a whole cat and mouse game. And what's cool about this movie is, while you're watching it, go ahead.
Having not seen it, is Josh Hartnett the Butcher?
Yeah, of course he is.
He is, right? Like, it's in the Shyamalan movie, like, right? Yeah. You watch the trailer, like, he's the killer.
I think the surprise is that he made a movie for his daughter to get famous, and it worked.
Hey, good for him.
This is why I haven't seen it yet, because I feel like I have. Like I feel like I have without seeing it.
I think the fun thing and the twist for you is, I found myself rooting for him throughout the movie.
You root for all the bad guys. That's not a thing. You're like, see, this is so surprising. I find it funny that I'm rooting for the guy killing everybody. It's like, Delvin, that's you in every movie. You're watching Mickey Mouse trying to kill people. You're watching Winnie the Pooh trying to kill people. You're like, Fire is amazing.
Because it's almost like how people feel with Dexter. You're watching it and you're enjoying it. You're kind of rooting for him to get away.
Yeah.
Until the moment happens when you're like, oh, this guy's really a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And when that happens,
bring you back in.
They just bring you back in, like, oh shit, we shouldn't be rooting for this guy at all.
That's good.
He's horrible. Good. And I think when that moment happens, I think it's really fascinating and it takes some really good turns. I really enjoyed it. It's a fun movie. I won't say it's great. I won't say it's amazing, but it's super fun.
I look forward to watching it when it's on streaming for free.
Yeah.
Where are we at now?
Josh on his number 5. You're on your number 4.
And then 4. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine will be quick. It's Quiet Place Day 1. I didn't really know what to expect either with this one. I kind of just thought it was another, sequel to successful movie. But there's a lot more to it, I think. I think they did a really good job at exploring just like basically 3 characters. One of those characters is a cat.
It's so wholesome, isn't it? It's like very charming, very human movie. Especially for for a scary movie, like a disaster movie. It's so wholesome.
Yeah, and it turns some tropes on its side with her, like the character being terminally ill already. Adding the cat into like the movie and really like playing with those elements of what it like that moment when everyone's walking toward the dock. Like, I don't think that we've seen that for at least for a long time in a movie where you kind of know right away this is horrible news, but everyone is like, it's just that big moment of like everyone's having like hope and nobody can see what's about to happen, but we know what's about to happen, and watching like the main characters slowly figure out, oh, okay, this is really bad, and it's just going to take that one thing. I really liked how they played with that. I thought that it was nice to see the Jaimon Hansu character arc kind of begin there to pick up for part 2. So that was nice to see that as well. So I liked it, and I liked the ending too. So overall, it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it was very good. I just wanted more disaster movie stuff.
Yeah. I see that too. It's definitely more on the slower side, but I think
they sell it as that, and then they do show it like it's not there. I just wanted so much more of it. I want Day of the Dead, I want I want the thing. I want the whole thing. Okay, so what am I? 4?
4.
Grossing $343 million in the box office by one of my favorite directors that I've spoken to sometime, Mr. Fede Alvarez, coming in as Alien Romulus.
That's on my list too.
I liked it a lot. Stars, a crew of Wayland tech folks like cyber, what do I call space colonists, minor people that are looking for greener pastures. They're looking to escape their life of indentured servitude, and they take a risk jumping into orbit to hop on another ship. And oh no, that ship, as this movie is set between 1979's Alien and 1986's Aliens, that is the ship that we know and love, and we see cameos and returning characters, and that story plays out. We have this 3 sets of 6 kids. I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters, but I feel like there's 3 sets of kids. There's 3 couples of kids, and they go off and try to escape and survive the xenomorphs and everything that's happened since the first movie. I really liked it. I really did. The reason it's number 5 and not number 1, if I could quantify, I was for sure when they were like, Fede Alvarez is writing and directing an Aliens movie.
Yeah.
That this movie would have buckets of blood, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
No.
And it's so reserved and also so campy and over the top at the same time that for me, when I came time to make my list and rank it, I just dropped it a little because of that. I like it. I think it's my 3rd favorite Alien movie. I feel pretty strong about that. It's not as good as the classics, but it's better than the new ones. It is very good. It is very Aliens. But I've seen Fede do better. He's done better. At this very thing, he's done better. And not that it's bad. I just hold it back a little bit. I got Kaiju who says Aliens is my number 1 this year. I imagine for a lot of people it is. And that's the only reason that I quantify it. I wanted a little bit more. There's this one section where they're fucking zero gravitying around. It's super campy and silly and dumb. And I was like, this is kind of stupid. and especially when there's 80 million xenomorphs running around, it's okay, fucking kill somebody already. Really kills them. They never really do. It's all off, off kilter or anything. It's a great 8. It's a really good, solid movie, but it doesn't transcend that ever. It never becomes better than that to me. So that's why it's 5 or 4.
Okay.
Sorry. That's why it's 4 for me.
Okay. I like it. My number 4 is In a Violent Nature.
Wow. That is super high for that movie.
I really, really enjoyed this movie. I think,
hey, let me ask, and I know you're going to say no, but let me just ask it. Is it just because of that kill scene?
No, not at all.
Okay.
What I liked
respect about you if you said yes.
No, that was one. I liked the kill scene a lot. What I liked about it was I liked the whole concept of following the killer and hearing the stories of the killer. The thing about the movie is it makes you look for the story in terms of you have to look in the background and see news articles and things like that.
Yeah.
You have to search for the story within the movie as the killer is doing certain things. Yeah, I do sound like Dev.
I've got blogs and books to read.
He's wearing off on me. Fuck. But yeah, I like that within the movie, you're searching for the story of the killer. You're hearing conversations about the killer.
I was searching my phone.
You're supposed to be. If you're paying attention to what's going on.
I'm setting my fantasy lineups and look at my threads.
It's contextual clues of what's going on and telling you the story. And I really kind of dug that. My only complaint about it is the movie's a little bit too long. And like you guys said, it strays away from at one point, it's just like, fuck it, we're not doing this anymore.
It really does. I was like, wait a minute. No, you told me it was going to be this, and now you left, like, fuck off.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and it gives no reason for that. It's like, well, fuck it, I'm tired of doing this.
Horror movies need rules. We've been over this.
And it just stops doing that. And I guess it does that. Like, my whole thing is this. The story's great, but then it feels like it has to give itself a final girl for no reason at all, when in actuality the final girl is the creature. It's like, that's the person we're following. We're following their story. So it should have ended with them. And they, at some point in the movie, for some reason, like, well, we're just going to tell a horror story a traditional way. And it doesn't work at that. A lot of things I've been saying, that final half of the movie doesn't work.
That's a common, I mean, you were hitting on a decade of horror staple.
Yeah.
We talked about that for a decade of movies. Like, horror movies so often flounder at the end. And I try to write them off, and I don't mean to like write excuses for them, but I honestly do think the answer is, when you're doing as much supernatural bullshit as horror movies are doing, sometimes you just have to, like, to be original. Like, the only thing you can do is like just go way off script and just like some fucking, you know, it's like Dusty. It's like some Dusty finish at the end. You're like, what the fuck was that? You know?
It's been a weird gift for me with horror films, because either I've liked most of the movie and hated the ending, or I hated 90% of the movie and loved the ending. So I'm torn on it.
I've been swayed by a good ending. Not always. And I try to resist a bad ending because it's so often. But when I come across a good ending, it can swim like, this is better than I thought. You know, like, I like Smile, the first Smile. I like that movie a lot. I'm looking forward to the second one. The ending was good. Like, liked the ending. And I think it goes a long way to what is a very like paint by numbers horror movie, but the ending was good. So like, it sells it for me. So I'm with you there. I don't mind it. Before we get to Josh, Yarden says, I love Day One, Quiet Place Day One. I want more films, but I also don't want them to overdo the series.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for you, Yarden. They're going to.
Of course.
As any popular, successful horror movie of ever can attest to, we're definitely getting 5 more of these motherfuckers. 2 of them will come out straight to Paramount Plus. You know,
yeah, like, or a TV series.
100%.
Yeah.
We will have more of them. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will.
Agreed.
This is a franchise now.
All right, Josh, you're up next.
Hey, my number 4 is Oddity.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't think it's a surprise to you that I like this movie.
No.
Because you know what I like. And Oddity is that kind of movie that I like. It is, I would say it's scarier than the style of movie this fits into. Like, I was genuinely had some really good jump scares in this one, but really it's just playing off. It's a moral dilemma movie with creepy atmosphere, right? And creepy, like you talked about the Brandy movie with the creepy mother-in-law, grandmother, who's acting weird. Like, this has one of those characters in it. It has one of those creepy people who linger just a little too much,
a little too long. It's
come places they shouldn't be. It's like a situational horror. Like, you're like, oh, I hate to be in that situation. What would I do in that situation? It reminds me of that. So when it plays with the fear of being alone in a house, and it doubles down on that, like, that's really its bread and butter, is being alone in a not well lit house that seems to be very old, and then everything else is happening. But that story, the character of this movie, isn't even the oddity. It's this house. It's this odd British countryside rundown castle or something, whatever it is. And then you're not even introduced to, I would say, if we'll call it like that thing, the oddity, like, you're not really introduced to that until like 3/4 of the way to the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
And it does some creepy
it's always
shit.
Implied.
Yes.
I honestly kind of thought the whole movie that it was just going to be implied.
Right.
Okay.
But they definitely, pull Chekhov's gun at the end. I liked it. Like I said, it's much lower on my list. It's not, and I didn't mean to make that sound like I didn't like it. It just didn't sniff my top 10. I was like, I could have not watched this and been the same.
Yeah.
I wanted to fit it in. What I want to say about it is, it's a classic tale. Like, it's a classic horror movie. Maybe more than any of the movies I've watched this year. If you're looking for a classic, standard, creepy horror movie, like Oddity is that. It is a classic horror movie.
Let me ask you a question, Donnie.
I'm
going to watch one after we finish. I'm going to eat me some food. And I'm going to watch one horror movie tonight. Should I watch Longlegs or Oddity?
Longlegs.
Okay.
And I say that because it's you.
Okay.
I think you'll like Longlegs a lot more.
Okay.
It's more captivating. There's more to explore in Longlegs mentally than in Oddity. Oddity is kind of what you see is what you get. It is what it is.
Okay.
It's at night. Somebody knocks on the door. There's a strange person. There's just strange things are happening. It is very... Oddity might be too predictable. Like, predictable isn't a bad thing, but Oddity, like, it literally is exactly what it sets itself to be.
Yeah, you can see it coming.
Yeah.
And even if
Oddity would
be
great if you haven't watched 100,000 horror movies before.
Yeah.
If you have, maybe watch something else.
It still does it well, though, but it is not unique.
It is creepy. Like, it does atmosphere and tone well, which I realize, I think that's why it's so high on Josh's list. Really values those things.
Yeah.
That creepy, when you can just hear the buzz in the background, there's no music or anything playing, like that creepy feeling, that sensation, Oddity does well.
Or you're like, is that noise in the movie or is that
it's very house? Like The Witch. It's very like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like The Witch.
Okay,
so we're in our top threes.
Yeah,
top threes.
Top threes, and we don't have nearly as much crossover as I thought we would.
Yeah. Well, last year we
right
had
now. I'm looking at it.
crossover.
We've got In a Violent Nature on 2. We've got In a Quiet Place on 2, and Abigail on all 3. So right now that's the crossover.
I think we'll get some more now.
Number 3 for me. Click back over to my list, because I wanted to point this out. When I was looking this up earlier, I was trying to do a little prep before the show around 5:00. And one thing that stuck out to me was how many of the movies that are in my top 10 are from directors I don't even know.
Oh, interesting.
Christopher Borgli. Like, I know who Zelda Williams was, but not as a movie director.
Right.
Michael Sarnosk, Robert Morgan. This one comes from Arkasha Stevenson. This is a prequel to the 1976 film, the 6th movie in the series. This is The First Omen.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
I think this is the best Omen movie in this franchise.
Wow.
I need to watch that one.
This is my favorite movie. This is my favorite Omen movie. And this hits close to home for me because I've mentioned this in Decade of Horror lore several times. My wife grew up Catholic. So anytime we can find some exorcist, religious Catholic shit, she's into it. She loves The First Omen. She thinks it's the scariest movie ever made. I loathe The First Omen. I think it's boring as hell. I don't know if it's because I saw it in the 1990s after seeing a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe in 1976, The Omen was terrifying. I don't know, but I've never liked it. Like, not that I don't like it. It's fine. I just don't think it doesn't deserve a place next to the greats that I so often think it's given.
Yeah.
It's given a seat next to Texas Chainsaw and Nightmare and Jason and The Exorcist, and it doesn't belong there. It's not that good. That's my hot take. The First Omen is great. It is great. There's a nun who gets sent to work in Rome, a Catholic orphanage. She's from America.
I thought you just said you don't like The First Omen, Donnie. You're so confusing.
The 2024 is The First Omen, which is available somewhere. I forget where it's on streaming. Peacock, I think, somewhere.
I think it's
somewhere
Peacock.
You can watch it.
Yeah, Peacock.
And I do have Peacock, so that makes sense. And I honestly, I loved it. It's number 3 on my list, higher than Alien Romulus. I loved it. I was like, it's a great blend of classic exorcist Catholic horror, new modern horror tropes, good storytelling. Like, it just does the thing. It's The First Omen 2024 is what Evil Dead 2013 is for Evil Dead.
Okay.
It refashions the whole franchise into something better than it was, in my opinion. And I really liked it. So it's high praise for me. But honestly, that was my feeling the moment I turned it off. Like the moment credit rolled, I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
Because I've watched so many Omen movies. I have the collection for my life. I've watched them all. And I cannot tell you the amount of times I've been sitting there scrolling Twitter rods. I'm like, this is boring as hell. I cannot stand. Why do you think this is scary? This was the first one. I was like, no, this was really good. This was really good. A little tropey, but good. I liked it a lot. The First Omen.
Sweet.
My number 3 is Alien Romulus.
There's another crossover. Nice.
Hey, so my number 3 is also Alien Romulus.
Nice.
Let's tag team it, Josh. Let's go, baby.
Put Donnie in the middle.
I really dug it. I think
I'm so excited for my number 2 now because we've gotten all the way to number 2 and nobody has said this movie that I'm like
I know what your number 2
for.
is. Your
So
number 2.
I can't
I think I have your number 2.
Oh, that would make me very excited. We'll see.
I think I have one of you. I think I have one of yours, Donnie.
Let's talk about Romulus. Yes,
But
Let's do
yeah,
Romulus. Let's not get
I
ahead of
really
ourselves.
enjoyed Romulus. I think it's one of the better Alien movies in a franchise that's had some really bad movies. And,
Yes. Well, hang on. Which one's really bad? Because this is the thing that I've always pushed back on. The world seems to hate Prometheus, which I really like.
I like Prometheus.
No,
right?
the really
Like, I
bad
like
one
Prometheus.
is the Winona
Covenant.
Ryder one. Alien. It's not 3. It's the 4th one.
Oh yeah,
Alien
you're right.
4.
The one that we don't
I
remember.
can't think of the
don't
name of
speak
it.
to. You're
Alien
right.
something.
I don't like the Alien Predator ones. I don't like the.
Oh, I think a
weird
lot of
Alien
people
movies.
like those. Alien versus
I do
Predator.
not
Those
like
The
those.
first one was pretty good.
They're fun, like Freddy versus Jason.
When it
but
comes
they're
over to
not good.
crossovers, I think they're the best.
Yeah, they're the best in the crossovers, but they're not good. Resurrection. Thank you,
That's
Sean.
the one that sucks.
That's the
Yeah,
worst
I think
one.
Alien versus Predator is better than Resurrection.
Yes, it
Oh
is.
yeah, 100%. Every movie
He said every movie.
in the Alien universe is better than
Every
Resurrection.
movie. It's better
That's
than
correct.
Resurrection.
That's correct.
Yeah. So yeah, go on about Romulus, so I can, and then I'll go on.
But
about
yeah,
it.
I really dug. It felt a lot like, in a lot of ways, like the first Alien movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of creepy as horror. And the funny thing about it is, all the things Donnie said about it, I 100% agree with. I'm like,
Sure.
all right, like we need some more violence, we need some more killing in this movie. And then the third, and going back to again, the
Coming
third
from
act,
Evil Dead, man, it's literally it's Evil Dead just in my brain.
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2013 has so much blood.
Yep.
For Romulus to have like none, it's really
it's like
hard
none.
to stomach. You're like,
is
what?
none. And then you
Yeah.
get to this point, the final act went too long, and they did this weird thing, and like, ooh, why did you do
Yeah.
this? Like, like we didn't need this. We really didn't need this final act at all.
Yeah. Yes.
The Last of Us 2'd it.
Yeah, they kind of did. Like,
Oh.
fuck is this?
All right. I don't know that I agree with that, but yeah, I agree with you. This would have been my number 1 if not for 2 things. One, the bad CG for a certain person,
A certain
Yes.
cameo, yeah.
and 2, I 100% agree with you. I did not like the final act. I thought it was goofy. It had Alien Resurrection vibes. It
Yes.
was not great. I don't like the direction they took with it for that purpose. Otherwise, I think it's like, again, we're going to have to deal with this like Stranger Thingsification of all of our favorite movies. And Alien
Yes.
Romulus does suffer a little bit from that too,
It does. Yeah,
because you're
that's a good
doing,
point.
but I get it. You also have to get people of that age into horror movies then.
Yeah,
You
gotta
got to
bring 'em
get
into the
them
franchise.
those relatable characters. So we're just saying like, hey, we're old men and we want, our Sigourney Weaver's back. I don't know that it's to that point, but
I didn't mind the cast.
I feel like I
wish
have
they
to
had a
give
bit more
them space.
motivation.
Yeah. I know. I agree with you.
I didn't mind the cast. I did get annoyed in the beginning with the treatment of
The
the one
synthetic.
character.
Yeah.
The synthetic, like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
It's a little bit much. Like,
I like how they played on that.
It was heavy-handed.
There's a
though,
lot
I think,
there.
little bit.
yeah,
If you've watched the other movies,
Yes,
Yeah.
agreed.
if you haven't watched the other movies, that's a turn that you probably see that and it means nothing to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Having watched them all, you're like, which way is this going to go? I like that.
Yeah.
I think they did. I think that was very well done.
Yeah. I really liked it, minus those two things.
Romulus. There it is. All three of us. All right. My number 2 movie. I'm so excited. My number 2 movie could very well be my number 1 movie.
Same.
I just dropped it a little bit for reasons. My number 2 movie is The Coffee Table.
Oh no,
I have not seen this.
Not on my list. Let me add it to my list.
The Coffee Table is the most depraved, hard to watch, funniest. I hate that I'm laughing at this horrible thing. Black comedy I think I've ever seen.
So from Donnie, I've gotten The Conference and The Coffee Table. What a great...
You need to watch The Coffee. The Coffee Table is the one.
Okay.
Honestly, in a different year, I probably would go with The Coffee Table. The Coffee Table is disturbing. It's depraved. It's unhinged. It goes to the darkest places of humanity and then makes jokes while it's there. It starts dancing on its grave. Like, the balls of this movie is through the roof. But more than anything, I don't know who to credit. It's directed by Kay Cassis. Again, so many of the movies in this on my list here. I got Cameron and Colin Carnes, Kay Cassis, Akarsha Stevenson, Matt Bettinelli, Olpen, Christopher Borgley, David Frame. Like, so many of the movies in here are from directors I don't know. Either the directing, the acting, or both, probably both. They sell the premise so well. There's so much tension. It's a sad, depressing movie.
But
how it gets there and what it does to you while you're there, they sell it so well that, like, the tension, the compulsion, I was so compelled to keep watching, to not turn it off. I want to see where this is going, where it ends. And then it starts fucking dancing with it and playing the cat and mouse, and they pull it back and then give you a little bit and pull it back again. It's a Spanish movie, Spanish-speaking movie. Okay. I don't think any American director would have the balls to even do it.
Okay.
When it comes to dark comedies, this one takes the cake for me. I was watching it, like, I laughed. At times I felt bad for laughing, and then I laughed again. And then when it was over and roll the credits, my wife looked at me and she was like, what the fuck was even that? And I was like, I loved it. Like, I absolutely loved it. It's one of those things where it just takes you to a place that I don't know. This is not something I would recommend to most people. Like, okay, I wouldn't.
Challenge.
I would recommend it to somebody that's watched 100,000 horror movies. Like, if you've watched 10,000 horror movies, you need to watch The Coffee Table. It's like, very different. They're not at all close to the same. I'm just speaking on vibes. Like the platform, like how it makes you think of things and like that. But way worse.
Oh boy.
I'm telling you, like, it fucking goes there. Like, it really goes there. Like, the movie's all balls. Such a simple story. The premise is The Coffee Table. This new couple, they love each other, go to this apartment, they're gonna go buy a coffee table. It's this ornate, gaudy, ugly-ass coffee table. But you know what? This is the thing the dad was allowed to pick. He was allowed to pick the coffee table, and by God, he's picking this one, and then all hell breaks loose. And I'm telling you, all hell breaks loose, and you're like, it can't get worse. And it does. Like, it breaks loose again and again. Like, it just keeps... There's no breaks on this movie. It's honestly, it's number 2 out of respect. Out of respect that they were like, this is too much, and they were like, do it again, do it even harder, do more. Loved it, absolutely loved it. Very very crazy, different movie. I if nothing else out of this podcast this year, I want people to watch The Coffee Table and tell me what they think about it. Like, I honestly just want to discuss it with other people. If this is an outlier, I haven't heard it talked about. I've only heard it like in very like acute horror social circles. I'm very interested to see how other people will find this movie, because my wife, I want to say she hated it, but she was entertained.
Sure.
Like, she hated it, but she was entertained. So like,
I Googled it, and it says the first thing comes up the coffee table.
You didn't read the plot, did you?
No.
Do not read the plot. Do not watch a trailer. Go in blind. Do not know anything about this movie.
Didn't
I should have said
read
it at the top. Don't know anything about it.
The first thing comes up is the most disturbing movie of 2024.
Oh, it's the most disturbing movie of the 2020s. Like I'll go a step further than that. Like it is disturbing, like by far. Like if you want to test yourself, like creepypasta, tip of the iceberg, like how far will I go? Turn it on.
Is it worse than the Pain Olympics? Have you seen the Pain Olympics?
I haven't seen the Pain
Never
Olympics.
heard of that.
I will tell you this.
Hey, Google
it's
it.
not it's
Don't
not
do it. Don't do it.
gratuitous. It's not like squeamish, we're gonna make you look away. It's not that. It's not Terrifier. It's good.
Okay.
It's just okay. It's like if you were playing Infamous and you did everything evil, that's the coffee table. Like it just goes there, man. It takes you to a place morality wise that you've never went to. I guarantee it.
Interesting.
Okay. I'm buying it now then.
Oh, geez.
It's not for everybody. Oh, it's shelf worthy. You gotta own a copy. Like you need the movie. and I was actually excited because I did bring this up in the Discord, because when I watched it, I was like, this is insane. And I was like, if you dare to watch it, like I'd love to hear from it. And I'm actually kind of stunned that nobody took me up on it, at least out of these three. But I'm very interested to hear what happens when you do, because it's challenging to say the least. It's the most challenging movie for sure.
Just bought it. So I watched it.
I can't wait to hear from it. I can't wait to hear about it. Are you going to watch it tonight, or are you going to watch Longlegs? Because I mean, obviously.
Well, if you just bought that, watch that, because Longlegs is still like $25 if you want to watch it.
I already have Longlegs. I bought it.
Oh, you have it? Oh, okay.
I bought it like a while ago to watch.
D-Life. Romulus was his number one.
Yeah.
Raven fed he's buying coffee table. I can't wait to hear about it, Raven. Let us know.
All right. My number two.
Yeah, good luck following that.
Yeah. This is gonna be hard to follow because mine is kind of really a personal number two, and it's for a reason. It's A Quiet Place Day One.
Oh, nice.
There it is.
Okay.
It's Romulus, Quiet Place, and Abigail are the only three movies that have made all three of our lists so far, I think.
Yes.
Correct. There you go.
Yeah.
I really dug the story, and I think based off of what I went through this year, it's a very personal story to me, because, you know, seeing someone in their last days and kind of want to go out on their own terms and trying to like go through a world that's starting to change and kind of adapting to that world. It's a fascinating story, and I really dug it for what it was. It's touching. It's emotional. The creatures are terrifying. I like Donnie said, I wish we could have saw more of it, but the moments where they brought the creatures out are really tense and chilling. I think my only knock with
that
the movie
theater scene was real good.
Yeah,
it is really good.
Yeah.
My only knock with the creatures is sometimes the sound element of it is a little bit wonky. Like sometimes, like something on the drop, like we don't hear nothing, and then like, hey, I think we're safe. And then thousands of creatures come out. Like, all right, it's a little bit inconsistent there, but overall, I really, really loved this film. If I watched it twice, and it's a very emotional journey. It's scary, it's tense, it's chilling, it's emotional. The ending I thought really was impactful for me. I think really, like, you know, the ending scene I thought was really touching and
it's very uplifting.
Yeah.
And it helped me cope with what I was dealing with personally. Like, oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I really dug it.
I'd say one more thing about it. Too many of the kills in that movie with the monsters are implied.
Yeah,
that's
like true. When you're selling the movie as day one and it's the invasion, like you need to show the stuff. That's kind of like you're selling the movie as like, come see the monsters, and then you still cut away from the monsters. It's like, well, we want to see them. That's why we're here. We want to see the monster.
Yeah.
Like that invasion angle, like when they're on the streets in the city and all that. There's so many like person, shadow, cutaway, like car. You know, it's like show what's happening, show the scene. Like we want to see it. They didn't really do that enough.
I agree, but I dug it a lot.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, that leaves me for my number two, huh?
Number 2.
I'm excited about our number
Is your
one.
number 2 my number 1? I
I
think it is.
Number 2 is Twisters. No, I'm just, better theater scene than Quiet Place. My number 2 is probably someone's number 1, if I had to guess. This was back and forth for a little bit. Late Night with the Devil is my number 2.
1.
That's my number 1.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll say the only thing that kind of held it back from the number 1 spot for me was I think there was some cheesiness to it for me that was still fine, but didn't fit the tone for the rest of the movie. I still liked it. I don't want to like the lightning stuff really kind of just took me out of it for whatever reason. That's just a me thing. But otherwise, I really loved the pacing of this movie and how it's a very well done like character horror piece. Like it felt like Twilight Zone or Outer Limits.
Yeah.
Like as a full movie, and like the acting is just fantastic.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When that movie rolled credits, and it's largely due to the ending. It's the editing plus the ending.
Yeah.
When that thing rolled credits, I think the thing I said in Discord, the thing that lasts with me, because this movie came out some time ago, right? Like February, March. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Correct.
The thing that lasts with this movie, the thing that I can never shake out of my head is it's like a new age version of Videodrome.
Yes.
Like I can't get that out of my head. I'm like, this is Videodrome, which I love, and which is why this is my number 1 film. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, but I'll let you guys hit on it for when you get to number 1. So, more Late Night with the Devil.
Well, why don't you go on with your number 1, Josh? Since me and Donnie has our.
Oh, you guys already did your 2s, right?
Yeah, we've done our 2s.
Yeah, my number 1 is Longlegs.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
It's just kind of in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a Josh movie. It's like it is like Zodiac. It's like Silence of the Lambs. It's like Seven. It's like Alan Wake. Okay. It's like X-Files. It has a lot going for it. I think what really sells it for me is I expected Nicolas Cage to be the main actor, and I didn't expect Micah Monroe to be so heavily featured, and she kills. She's so good. She makes this character with these just interesting quirks, and
she's the whole reason why I evoke the Silence of the Lambs. That's such a heavy thing to throw, but she is the reason why. Like when you watch both, you're like, yeah, these leads bring that vibe.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil it because I know Delvin hasn't watched it yet, but like I just want to say, like, watching it, when you start watching it, you look at this character and you're like, okay, that is a very eccentric character from go, and it seems a little odd. There's like, sitting back and thinking about that movie, there's so many small things done on purpose that seem like quirks or like odd scenes or really weird things. It's like watching like Usual Suspects or Seven again, where you see all these things happening from the background that they seemingly don't mean anything until you like process what you watch. Like you're like, oh, that's why they did that. Hey, that's why Bruce Willis couldn't open that door in The Sixth Sense. Now I get it. Oh, that's why no one ever talked. Like there's these moments where you're like, okay, it all fits together in the picture. And maybe like when I started watching it, I was like, oh, this is all right. And then the more it like bleeds on and goes on, I just started absorbing more about like, it's just like a very well done piece of art. Like it's just very good. And there's some, I wouldn't say there's like 2 jump scares maybe, but I think it's more scary on the what people are capable of aspect of it. Like you could picture this person being a real person living in the world. And that makes it, very scary. So I think it's great. I think it's very well done. And that will be one of those movies I can watch any time of the year.
That I agree with. When it comes to rewatchability, I think it's pretty high.
Yeah, and Alicia Witt, man alive. I had no idea she was even in this movie. She's incredible. She does such a great job.
Yeah.
So, the highest of praises for me.
Late Night with the Devil is my number one. I already mentioned. Like I said, it incorporates it's found footage meets editing tricks meets Videodrome meets Exorcist, and all of those things are like things I really like. Somebody who really enjoys Paranormal Activity and Blair Witch and Exorcism movies, Emily Rose. It kind of is all those things like trucked up into one. The Videodrome, the ending really sold it for me. Like the ending really went in a place I didn't expect it to go. I didn't expect it to go off the rails in such a nice way. I was like, this is dope. Like it's been a minute since I've seen something like this. But honestly, I think it's the effects. It's the effects and the girl. The girl sells it and the effects sell it. And I was like, this is great. I like how layered the movie is. How there's multiple stories, like kind of all unfolding simultaneously. It keeps your attention. You have to keep paying attention to what's going on because there's story progression with people that are off screen, that are on screen, that are cameos, that come back and forth. I like all of that. And
very slow build to it too.
You're introduced to these people that you think are one thing, and then there's something else. And by the end, like if you were to read it back, if you had a court stenographer read back everything that was going on, you'd be like, holy shit, this is so dense. But on the journey there, it's so built upon so succinctly. It's such an easy way of getting there. You don't really realize where you are by the time you get there. The moment I watched it, I loved it. I'll never forget. I think when we watched it, I think I posted in Discord, I was like, fucking, we have a winner.
Yeah.
It has literally stayed there at the top of my list since. And every movie that I've watched for all those 39 other movies, nothing has displaced it the entire time. I was like, this is the film. So for me, Late Night with the Devil is number one of the year and absolutely shelf-worthy. It's incredible.
Yeah. One of my favorite horror movies. I really enjoyed it. I think the whole concept of it being a talk show and like having that. If you grew up in the era of the Johnny Carson show and all that type of stuff, and just watching it brings back the memories of that Technicolor kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
And they really nailed the set design of it and how those shows worked. And as you're watching it, it feels like one of those shows from the 70s or 80s, the whole concept of it. And you're watching it, and little things are happening that are a little unnerving.
Have you seen Videodrome?
A long time ago.
Okay. Because, like, yeah, that's all the Videodrome parts of it that are coming back.
Yes.
It's like, it's not quite that, like, body horror type stuff, but, like, all the editing tricks and everything, like, it's all there. Which I really appreciate. Honestly, I'm surprised we don't see more of it. Like, as modern and techie as we've gotten, we didn't get a whole lot of movies like that. And I kind of feel like that's a space that should be ripe with, like, exploitation flicks.
I agree. And I kind of really just dug the way they did it and how they built up to this one dramatic moment where all hell just breaks loose.
Yeah, it does.
And it kind of surprised me because I was expecting one thing and it just broke loose in a whole different way. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And I really dug that. And I've been saying all night, the endings in movies haven't got me, but this one definitely pulled me in. Like, oh, they nailed it. And the moment I watched this movie, I was like, this is my number one. Everything else is going to be number two here on down because it's going to be really hard to top it. Like, you know, and truth be told,
that's interesting, like, you know, because this is one of the earlier movies we saw. Like I said, I think it was March or February when it came out. I expected it. I think I expected to like something a lot more. Like A Quiet Place, like Alien, like one of the bigger, and like it just, as every movie came out, as I was slotting them in, I'd be like, no, not as good as that one. I just kind of kept moving everything down and just nothing ever kind of hit that crescendo. That's what I was kind of talking about earlier. As much as, even as much as I like Late Night with the Devil, I wouldn't like give it like a 10 out of 10 or maybe even a 9.5. Like, I don't think it's that great, but nothing ever eclipsed it for me this year.
I think what it was for me is, if anybody's been in the Discord, they've seen my comments. I was like, I'm not really enjoying a lot of the horror movies this year. And that was the one that really stood out to me out of all the ones I watched thus far. You know? And even if you look at my list,
that lasting feeling when I finished it, I was like, oh, that was great. It's like that, The Coffee Table are the only movies where I was like, that was incredible.
I gotta know, what movie Sean wants to see with me. Sean's in the chat saying he wishes he could have seen a movie with me.
I wonder if I thought he was talking about Longlegs at the time, but I'm not sure.
I can make that work. I'll go sit with Sean Capri. And
I could see Sean watching Longlegs by himself and being like, "This sucks,"
or thinking of me.
Maybe
I can picture Josh doing this. Oh, good.
But yeah, I think if you look at my list, you'll notice a lot of the movies that are high on the list are movies I watched recently.
Yeah,
like Alien and stuff like that, because there was so many movies I watched before that. I'm like, I'm not feeling this. Like, I'm not really feeling this at all. And it was a little harder to make this list because of that. And
I had a good 10 or 15 of those. Cuckoo was like not the first time, but like I was watching Cuckoo and I was like, okay, this is good. Like it is good. It's not awful. Yes, it is. But I'm also like not that captivated by it. Like I'm not that interested. Like I don't care.
I wasn't captivated by it either. I'm like, this is fine.
And there's a lot of like a Suitable Flesh has Heather Graham in it. Like I watched it. It's it's fine. I one of the things I watched this year was I watched VHS 94 and 85.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is. Like The Strangers. Like there's a lot of like meandering, middling, just filler stuff.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff felt like filler.
Yeah. Immaculate. Sydney Sweeney's like huge.
Yeah.
Everything she does is big. You think her dress as a nun, everybody love it. I watched it. I was like, it's okay. Yeah. It's not the First Omen. It's not that, like, it's not, a lot of average.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Josh. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, do you think that VHS Beyond is going to be any good?
I haven't really liked any of them, if I'm being honest with you. I've watched them all, most of them all. I've watched all of the ones that are on Shudder at least. I like that they have like connected stories and different directors and stuff. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm not that interested in them. They're not that, that they don't put their hooks in me quite that.
I think I liked 85. That's when I watched. But the stories on it are hit or miss. There's certain stories like, this is really good one. And they're like, this was terrible.
I remember being annoyed.
It should be episodic
by watching it.
Like if it had more money and was episodic, I think maybe there's something there. There is like this Tales from the Crypt to them.
Yeah.
But it's hard to figure out, and you almost have to like find out, the answers and stuff. And it's like you could do a better job of storytelling.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Well, that's our top 10s. We've done it for another year. Our top 10s are in the books. I wrote yours down as I did them. So when we edit and post the podcast tomorrow, I will post my top 10 and your top 10s all in the notes. I know that was very important, Sean, that we include our lists in the notes as people want to look back and try to catch up.
And Raven, I did mention I saw the TV Glow.
Yeah,
so you can go.
He did. Yeah, made his list. So I wanted to ask you, what are your October plans and your watch list? And as I ask you that, I actually have to go use the bathroom, so I'm going to quickly run and come back and try to catch back up.
I'll
Delvin, take it away.
Yeah.
In October, I think I'm going to be playing a lot of horror video games. This year seems like around this time, and I don't think it's been like this lately. Like a lot of horror video games are coming out in October.
Yeah.
Like you got Silent Hill, you got Quiet Places, a lot of stuff coming out. So I'm excited to just try all these different horror games that are coming out around this time. I'm going to watch, of course, Smile and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really excited for all these horror video games that are coming out because I've been having an itch to play horror video games all this year.
Yeah.
And, a lot of stuff hasn't really scratched my itch, but now I'm kind of feeling like, you got a Clock Tower coming out, you got Quiet Place, you got Silent Hill 2 coming out. I'm like really digging it. I'm really excited for all that type of stuff. What about you, Josh?
I mean, there's some movies still, like Never Let Go, that Halle Berry movie. I'm interested in checking about that out. One. Yeah. There's this Kit Harington movie, The Beast Within. It's like a werewolf movie, I think. Like
I saw that.
Kind of looks like I like that stuff.
I don't trust
weird
Josh,
AI movie with Harold from Harold and Kumar. It's like by the Megan people. It's called Afraid, but the AI is in red. And it's like a smart house or a smart bot. A smart bot. It's like Megan basically, but with I can't think of his name. The guy who played Harold and Kumar.
Harold.
Yeah.
His name is Harold.
I can't think of his name. Cuckoo was on my list, so I don't know if you guys think I should still watch that, but that was something I did want to watch.
You're muted.
Donnie is muted. Yeah, you're still muted.
Sorry about that. I wouldn't pay for it. That's
Okay.
what I would wait for it to come to streaming.
All right.
When it hits Hulu or something, watch it. It'll be fun. It's good. It's not bad. Is it worth $10 or $20 to watch right away? No, it's not.
Okay. And then, did you guys watch The Deliverance? Did you try watching it? Did you start it? It's on Netflix.
No,
I haven't.
Netflix might be my biggest blind spot when it comes to movies.
Yeah,
it might be the streaming service I'm checking the least these days.
there's a movie called Deliverance on Netflix. I stopped watching it because I felt very uncomfortable with the social situations going on in it. And Glenn Close is in borderline blackface, I think.
Oh, that's I know what movie you're talking about.
I was a little uncomfortable.
That's the one.
All things race relations. Once you bring up race relations, that was like,
that's the movie made by the guy. I can't remember his name.
NCAAP Delvin chimes right. He's like, wait a minute, I've been briefed on this.
Oh, have you? No, I know this movie because there is a funny scene in this movie.
The poop scene?
Unintentionally funny that they keep showing on Twitter.
There's a poop scene where a kid throws
There's a poop scene in it where
what movie is this? I don't even know what.
Glenn Close is talking to her black daughter.
Yeah.
And she says something like,
"What?
I smell your black nappy pussy."
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, what's going on?
And that happens very early in the movie.
What's so weird?
The Deliverance.
The Deliverance. No, this is not even on my radar.
Just pull up a still of Glenn Close.
What is wrong with you people?
It's so weird. It's
Rude has asked if anybody's interested in Nosferatu.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
I didn't post the trailer today because I didn't want to bury our tweet. But yeah, there's a new trailer out today. It looks great.
Yeah, the movie's made by Lee Daniels.
So I was like, Lee Daniels film. That's odd.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, it was. I had to stop watching it, and I attribute it to my white guilt. I'm not going to hide that. It was
it
very
Glenn Close talking about black women's pussies that made you like, no, I'm out of here. This is it. This is a bridge too far.
Was like, I don't know. I really felt like it was really.
Man, I go to take a piss and this show really goes off the cliff.
It's it's on brand.
It's weird. It's
your brand.
Do you remember Donnie?
Not my brand. Movie up.
You remember we talked about like the social stigmas in movies, like they're making you turn a situation into a horror movie.
I got you. Yeah,
this is like
my favorite thing to do.
I don't love like this movie starts off with like a stereotypical projects style like place where they live, and they're trying to play that off in a horror thing, and I just think it's like in bad taste. It just didn't seem.
Raven says it's based on a true story.
Oh, well, that's worse than I should have.
Maybe I'll watch it one day. True, probably not. Probably not going to make the list based off of the things you guys have said.
I've seen too many clips for this movie. I'm like, I'm not watching this.
Yeah,
it looks awful.
Watch or beware.
This looks awful.
I have my watch list. If you guys, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't. I don't know where you guys are in the conversations. I don't mean to.
We talked about. Go ahead, Devin.
I told him I was talking about all the horror games that's coming out in October. Now I'm excited for it.
That's the next thing on the list. So
yeah, and I was talking about the horror movies I want to watch. So I'll probably have some crossovers with you.
I had my list set, and then I had a conversation with my wife that like fucked the whole list.
Okay.
So I had a list set, and I wanted to watch like a lot of like Giallo films and old films. I wanted to watch like some cult favorites that she's never seen. Like she's never seen Jennifer's Body or like Ginger Snaps.
Okay.
And then I got to talking to her, and she was like, I want to watch like some classic stuff, like some old stuff. And like, I think she's in the mood for like some like less scary stuff was like the gist that I got. So I kind of shifted and pivoted. So instead of like, I was going to watch like Repulsion and Torso, Deep Red, Blood and Black Lace. That was like my watch list going into the thing. Those have all been replaced with I think I'm gonna watch like Dr. Phibes, like a lot of Vincent Price stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like Dr. Phibes, maybe Young Frankenstein, like Abbott and Costello, Fright Night, Theater of Blood, maybe Last Man on Earth, like classic stuff, I think is what she's wanting. And in between there, I do have a couple things that I really want to watch. First and foremost, The Burning has been on my to-do list, I think, for 2 years in a row, and I have yet to watch it. This is like, I think there's like a well, actually, horror fans
the 80s
would
movie.
tell you the 80s The Burning is
Okay.
like the best Friday the 13th movie, is starring a very young Jason Alexander before he's George Costanza, right? Like, I want to watch it. I've never watched it, so I want to watch that one. I want to watch The Ruins, and like I really want to watch The Fly and Hereditary.
The Burning. Let me look this up.
Well, you've seen Hereditary.
I have, but
You
it's
just wanna
been
rewatch it.
I haven't seen it since the Blu-ray release.
I really wish I went to see it in theaters when they just.
I did see it in theaters. It was awesome. But Hereditary is like not quite, but like getting close to maybe 10 years old, right? 2017.
I think it's got to be close. Yeah.
So like, I kind of want to see it again. It's been a minute.
2018.
But I've got a lot of things. Like, I want to see the People Under the Stairs, Mouth of Madness. So like, I have like a very eclectic group of things that I'm gonna be trying to fit in this October, starting next week. But it will start with the things I think my wife wants to see. So I'll throw some classics in, some Vincent Price stuff. Maybe we'll do Young Frankenstein. Maybe we'll do The Invisible Man or something, and then I'll throw in some of my stuff, and then we'll see where it goes on Halloween. I think more than any year before, like, I'm very open. Like, I only have like 3 or 4 movies that I want to see, which is, again, I want to see The Ruins, The Burning, The Fly. I haven't seen The Fly in years. It's been so long. It's such a great movie.
Yeah, and scary.
I haven't seen that since I was like, I think 12 or 13. It's been a long time. And I keep telling her, I'm like, you have to see it. And every year goes by and it just keeps getting pushed off. I'm like, this year we are going to fucking watch The Fly. Like,
great body horror in that film.
She's never seen it. She's never seen it. So, yeah, I think I'll probably save Hereditary maybe for like a weekend where maybe I don't think she wants to rewatch it.
Yeah.
So I might do that solo. But everything else, I don't think she's ever seen. Like, she hasn't seen all, like, when she thinks old movies, she's thinking the monster flicks. You know, Bride of Frankenstein, stuff she's seen like in pop culture. She's never seen like Dr. Phibes, you know, The Invisible Man, Last Man on Earth. She's never seen like House on a Haunted Hill, that sort of stuff. So I'm like, oh, you want to see some classics? Like, I will serve up some classics for you.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're ready for it. But we'll see.
Body Snatchers is a good one.
Body Snatch, yeah, of course. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Fright Night was like the 80s classic. You know, I haven't seen like the original. Like, they did the remake, which I thought was terrible.
Yeah.
But the OG is still great. So I might watch a lot of that this October. It's kind of what I'm working on.
Nice.
Okay.
I do have horror gaming in 2024. So before I read off this list, I have a list of stuff.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you've played that you want to shout out before I read off a list of things you can play?
I don't know that I played horror game this year. I did try the demo of the casting of Frank Stone. Does that count?
Who? The fuck is Frank Stone?
I've played Frankie Baby.
Casting of Frankie rocks.
Yeah, I don't think I played a horror game this year. At least nothing that's like popping into my head as a notable release. Maybe
the thing that comes to mind immediately for me is Silent Hill comes out next week.
Yes,
that's correct.
But we'll see how fast I can get to it, because I still have yet to beat Astro. I'm playing Zelda.
Yeah,
dude. You know, like, it might be Halloween before I get to Silent Hill, which I pre-ordered. Like, Haley may have already played and beat the game before I ever even start playing it.
Oh,
so.
she definitely would have. She got the platinum already.
You also have the Until Dawn remake, which comes out.
Yeah.
I want to read off a few things for you. Most notably, Josh.
Yes.
We were expected to have a demo for Ghosts
Halloween.
Before Halloween. The movie, the video game that we kickstarted.
Yeah.
You and I, we've both kickstarted a copy of Ghosts. Delvin, if you don't know what this is the director of the movie Host on Shudder from several years ago. I think from 2020.
Okay. Our movie of the year that year.
Movie of the year. Yeah, Host. He scripted a video game that they're trying to make that we kickstarted years ago.
Think Night Trap.
It's an FMV horror thing that's still yet to come out. We were supposed to have a demo before Halloween, and I will be playing that demo. I want to see what the hell I gave them $100 for.
It can't be too hard to make an FMV.
Well, you say that, and it's been 4 years, and we've yet to get a damn thing. So
those shits come out on like PlayStation like every couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, they're probably going for a good version.
Yeah, they're trying to make it good though.
Yeah.
Clock Tower Rewind comes out right before Halloween, like October 29th.
Rude Days, by the way, Rude Days says, shout out to Still Awakes the Deep. That's the game I was thinking of.
I love that game.
On the Xbox, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Not Still Wakes the Deep. That's not the game we're talking about.
You're talking about
I tried Still Wakes the Deep.
Waves.
I tried Still Wake the Deep. I played it for like 20 minutes and I turned it off. I'm thinking of Under the Waves.
Yeah.
Under the Waves I liked a lot. I need to get back to Still Wakes the Deep. I was not in the mood for that game at the time I started to play it.
Yeah.
I started to play it. I'm walking around the ship and I could tell. I think I talked to this Sean and he told me this isn't the way that it is. As I was walking around the ship, they keep showing you the map like on the wall. And I was like, if I have to keep checking the fucking wall to figure out where I am, I don't want to play this anymore. Like I'm not there mentally. I don't want to try that hard.
The same thing happened to me.
You know, like I was like, I don't want to try this hard. Never mind. Fucking forget about it. Like if I can't have a fucking map, I don't care. Yarden says Alone in the Dark was the most terrifying game this year, not in a good way. That's a Delvin special.
I will say I did play Phasmophobia a lot this year. I know I'm like years late to that game, but playing that with like Kevin's son and Lucas, like talk about a game that really just scares the shit out of me every time I play it.
Really?
Yeah, it's the sound, it's like not knowing. It's just very like I don't do good at haunted houses either in real life, so it has a haunted house vibe. And now you're like seeking it out instead of trying. So
sure.
Like, I said
that has been my thing with. I do like horror video games, but I don't like them as much as movies because there are genres of horror video games that I don't like. Like I'm not a big fan of the Trials games. I don't like the games that are like you have zero agency, just survive. Like I don't like that's not fun video game to me. Like I'm not trying to just survive a series of jump scares. That's not, you know, what's the game part.
Yeah.
So
don't have a stroke.
Before we move on, Delvin, did you get Alone in the Dark? Did you ever play it? You were very excited.
I did. It was very mid-tacular.
Great.
It didn't hold me in on this. So I was like, whatever, I'll have to play this. Even the Frank Stone, I'm almost finished with him. Like this is fine. It's not amazing. Like I'm more excited for the stuff that's coming out in October.
Super mid. Like Shadows of the Damned remastered, which comes out on Halloween.
Big boner, baby.
Can't wait. Super excited.
Wait.
Retro Realms, Halloween and Ash versus the Evil Dead. I will have you know that I have pre-ordered one special edition copy of this game.
Oh.
Have you guys seen it?
No.
I did see it.
It has like this VHS box cover look. I was like, I gotta have it. Like I just gotta put it on the horror shelf and just have it. Like it looks great. We have Silent Hill 2, we have Hollow Body, which just released, the Until Dawn remake, Crow Country, which has been like near the top of, I'm just waiting for a sale. I'm waiting for a sale and time to play that game. Like I really want to play Crow Country. I'm very excited for it, but I have yet to get the sale and a time where I can play it.
Luigi's going to sale real quick soon.
Luigi's Mansion 2 came out over the summer. Like that's another Halloween game you can play this October. Slitterhead releases this month. Outlast Trials, Still Wakes the Deep, Game Pass, and then looking forward, I have Dying Light: The Beast in 2025. Maybe my most anticipated game at the moment. Little Nightmares 3 coming next year, and then Moonlight Peaks. I just put on this. This game is coming out in 2026. We'll see. Have you guys? I know Delvin has heard about it because I talked about it on Shaq.
Yes.
Josh, if you haven't heard about this game at all, go on Steam, look up Moonlight Peaks. It is Animal Crossing, but if it was Halloween all the time.
Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah.
And if you've got a handheld or something, like if you got a wife who loves Animal Crossing, show it to them because I was like, I can't wait to play this.
Cool.
And I did play the demo, and the demo was very good.
I think the Fear the Spotlight games will be coming out soon too. The Blumhouse game.
There's a lot of horror games this year. I forgot all about Blumhouse doing like the whole we're gonna do games thing. We'll see how that pans out. I think it'll pan out very Blumhouse. I'm not a super fan of Blumhouse. Like Blumhouse does so much mid horror stuff. Like I'm like, okay, who cares?
Someone's got to do it. We don't have Miramax.
That's true. That's true. Somebody's got to do it. Like that's what the Retro Realm stuff is.
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna make a 2D game where you're Michael Myers. I'm like, awesome.
Perfect.
Like, perfect. Like I will buy that game. Will it be good? Probably not. Am I gonna buy it? Sure will. Absolutely will purchase that game. And then Yarden does do a good job of mentioning Stalker 2 in November. If it doesn't get delayed yet again.
Yeah.
It will.
Let's get into some questions. The Rude asks, what's your favorite horror comedy? I recently watched Detention. That's some crazy shit there. Others that come to mind are Shaun of the Dead and Scary Movie. I think Shaun of the Dead might be the best horror comedy of all time.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead is great. I really like Anna and the Apocalypse.
Yeah, you do.
If you like musicals. Dale and Tucker versus Evil is top notch.
That's
comedy horror. And then The Final Girls, I also think is a very funny movie that plays on that trope of the final girl.
I don't know if it counts as
it's a comedy.
I'm sorry, I'm pitching another one.
Oh.
I don't know if this counts as quote unquote horror comedy, but I always laugh, and it's one of my fan favorites. I love Reanimator.
Okay, yeah, that counts.
I think Reanimator is hilarious. I would also throw out some new ones. Happy Death Day.
That's a good one.
Freaky,
The Babysitter.
Let's
Leslie
not
Vernon.
leave out Army of Darkness. Let's not leave that.
Oh, of course. I mean, yeah. I mean, you could just Evil Dead 2 at that point.
Yeah.
Leslie Vernon is hilarious.
Yeah.
Leslie Vernon is what In a Violent Nature should be. If you've never watched it, Delvin, have you ever seen it?
No, I have not.
Behind the Mask of Leslie Vernon it's a horror movie shot as a documentary about you understanding what the killer's going through trying to kill everybody. He's like, you don't understand the cardio that I have to do. It's very fucking tongue-in-cheek. It's very hilarious. It's super indie, though. It's super low budget.
Very low budget.
There's a better production version of that movie that's incredible. For sure.
Anytime I think of horror comedies, I don't know if people consider this a horror comedy, I think of Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 4.
I think that's, Part 3, you said?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Dream Warriors.
Dream Warriors, that's the one.
That's Part 3, yeah.
Dream Warriors is hilarious.
It is very tongue-in-cheek.
I think we reached that point when you've watched a ton of horror movies, you're so desensitized that everything becomes a comedy. I'm sure that's me in the coffee table. Yeah. I'm laughing at the coffee table. My wife is like, what the fuck's wrong with you? But that's what that movie is. That movie was made for those people. You have to be a part of that sect of people, I think, to get it.
Yeah.
But definitely, I laugh. I've always laughed at all the Chucky, right? I do the Chucky thing. I've got him behind me here. I've laughed at every Child's Play, I think, ever. I think it's so hilarious, the idea of Chucky. Have you guys seen the GIF of Child's Play, the original, but dubbed in Spanish?
No.
It's fucking hilarious.
That sounds funny.
It is so funny. The whole premise is hilarious.
Yeah.
So, generally speaking, I do think, I find I'm one of those people I think that laughs at bad situations to make it better.
Yes.
So I think horror plays to me.
Yep.
But when I think horror comedies, I think Beetlejuice, I think American Werewolf, I think Scary Movie, I think Tucker and Dale, I think Young Frankenstein, I think silly, slapstick, dumb comedy. Cabin in the Woods.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah. Those are all, and those are great movies. Shaun of the Dead, you could fill an entire October with just those and have a ball, have an absolute blast. Dawn of the Dead, the remake.
Yes.
Which was not supposed to. Moments in it. Yeah. Super funny. It's very hilarious. So have fun.
Agreed.
Second question comes from D-Life. If you were to create the ultimate horror movie by combining things from other horror movies, what would that look like? So give me your Frankenstein horror movie.
You got to have a killer, right? We need a big lumbering killer. He can't be too smart, but he can't be too dumb. You got to have horny teens.
Okay.
But they have to have their head on their shoulders, not literally for the whole movie, but for most of it. You got to have what do you have to have? You have nudity, right? We
You
need
got me
nudity in that
at
movie.
nudity, teens, and a killer. Like, you got me.
Yeah.
I'm all in, Josh.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Nudity and violence.
You need a twist.
You nailed it, right?
Where the camper is the killer.
Ooh, the twist. Yeah. Well, or the camper's the killer. Yeah, so it's like Clue, kind of. I think we're doing a bad job at this.
We've just made Friday the 13th. That's all
right,
we've done.
pretty much.
Again, the remake. You just got to get one of those supernatural guys in there for looks.
Oh man, Rude Day says
wait.
going about movies that were meant to be that weren't meant to be horror comedies. I forgot to mention the greatest horror comedy of all time, The Happening.
Yeah,
which is very
The
funny.
Happening and Movie 43, 2 terrible horror movies.
Yeah. Oh, Zombieland is a very good one too.
I like Zombieland. Yeah.
If I were doing the ultimate horror movie, I would have a found footage movie of an exorcism by teens in a camp as they were being hunted by a killer.
Oh wow,
That's all movies in one. There you go. We did the thing.
But they perform the exorcism, and one of their friends gets possessed, and they
just described the latest season of Chucky. So that's the latest season of Chucky. He becomes president, shoots off nukes, gets canceled. It's a whole thing.
Oh boy!
God, that damn! I'm not sure if you guys watched that. This Chucky the series went so far off the rails. It's respectable. Like, it's insane. You're like, you did not just do this, and the hell if he did it. They're literally in like SEAL Team 6 launching nukes, like Biden style. Like, the fucking shit is ridiculous.
I saw a scene where this kid was getting ready to kiss Chucky. I'm like, all right, I'm not watching.
I mean, it is out there. Like, it is really, really.
It was so weird. Like, you get ready to make out with Chucky. I'm like, all right, man. That's enough for me. This is where I don't watch shows. Even in context, I don't want to know.
Kaiju says, is the found footage genre dead or dying or played out at this point? What's the newest found footage movie you've actually enjoyed?
Well, don't do your movie if you think it's played out, Donnie. That
Late Night to the Devil. Our number one.
Yeah, I definitely think that counts. That's definitely a found footage type movie.
That's a found footage movie. They found the footage, and
yeah. It's not dead or dying. I just think it's oversaturated. You just have to look through it all to find the good ones. Like Host,
there are good ones.
Great example.
Host, exactly. Host is a great example. I'd throw Deadstream, if you've never watched it, is fun. But yeah, because it's so cheap, a lot of people do it. So it's been overdone.
I heard that movie Cam is also good.
I like Cam. Yeah, I like Cam.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good found footage movie. I wish Paranormal Activity would come back, but I think it's probably smart for it to it needs to stay in the shadows for now.
Yeah,
like take a break
for
and
sure.
come back. Yeah. They definitely overdid it there for a little bit
after the Amish one.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
Raven Fade says, what are your top 3 creature feature movies you guys have watched and really enjoyed in the last decade? The genre seems to be either truly hit or miss, and I wish there were more good ones out there.
I have 2 water-based ones that I really like that were recent. Sweetheart, which I really enjoyed a lot, is a great creature feature, and then Underwater with Kristen Stewart.
Yeah,
I think fits that bill. I really enjoyed those 2. I'm trying to think of other creature ones I've seen recently. I'll have to look at my list and see.
I would bring up Infested, which I thought was really good. Literally, until the end, the ending kind of threw me off, which is why I wasn't higher on my list. But I did like it. Infested was good. The other one that comes immediately to mind, and it's somewhat old at this point, was The Reef. I talked about it on Decade of Horror episodes of the past.
Yeah,
it's a great shark movie.
Yeah,
if you want a good Jaws shark movie, The Reef is excellent.
Okay.
I like that one a lot.
Agreed. Creature feature. I mean, I'm trying to think of. I guess I would consider maybe Nope is my 3rd if I am picking 3.
That's great.
Yeah, if Nope counts,
Nope definitely counts.
That's a fantastic one.
Oh, how about The Ritual as maybe an offshoot?
Yeah, and also Beast, that Idris Elba movie was pretty good.
Oh yeah, Beast was great.
Delvin turned me off on that one.
And Prey, we can count that, right?
The TV series?
No, the
the
Predator movie.
Predator
The
movie.
Hulu. Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, the Hulu one. Yeah.
Yeah, I like The Ritual. The Ritual's a good creature feature.
Yeah, Ritual was good. Yeah, that's actually very good. Actually,
Yeah.
Underrated.
Better than The Watchers.
Oh, well, 10 times better than The Watchers. Yeah.
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 So that one's a good one. Delvin, you have any other ones?
No, I think y'all named the ones I was thinking of. I love shoot.
Annihilation, also a good creature feature.
There's got to be a better shark movie.
If you want
Reef.
a
Was it
dumb
The Shallows?
Feature,
The
Shallows.
The Shallow was a good one. If you want a dumb creature feature, The Meg. It's fucking
The Meg is
ridiculous.
fun.
I try to
Not
say
a horror
those
movie,
are
though.
dumb, the Meg and the Meg 2 and shit. Like the Reef and the Shallows are better.
Yeah.
Those are better movies. There's another one, Under Paris was one I watched on Netflix this year.
Yeah.
It sucked. Don't watch that.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, don't watch that. The Reef and the Shallows is better. Watch The Reef. Watch The Reef and then the Shallows.
And Underwater.
And Underwater. Yeah, I like Underwater. Underwater's good.
And then Sweetheart to come back up from the ocean onto the beach.
Our last
Thematically.
question of the night, and when in the episode, comes from Todd Oxtra. What is the best horror sequel?
That is hard.
So when I first saw this question, I was thinking like only movies that like number 2s.
Right.
But then you realize that like a 3 or 4 or 5 could be a sequel. Like Dream Warriors counts. That makes the question much harder.
See, the problem I'm having with this question is a lot of my favorite horror movies that are number 2s aren't really horror movies in their sequel. Like, Aliens.
Still a sequel.
Aliens comes to mind. Like Aliens. Oh, so the first thing I was going to say, here's the thing that comes to mind immediately for me. When I think horror sequels that are great, the first thing comes to mind for me, Child's Play 2, Aliens, Psycho 2.
Okay.
Evil Dead 2 for me is the first.
Evil Dead 2. Like those all come immediately to mind. Like those are better movies.
Those are
like Child's Play 2, I've always said I think Child's Play 2 is in people's minds as what Child's Play is. Like it just is the Child's Play franchise. Like Child's Play 2 is the movie. It's the whole franchise. I want to question how many people have actually seen the original. I found in my years of questioning, I don't think people realize how many people haven't seen the original.
Original one is Fireplace, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The original one is Fireplace. Yeah. And every time you hear people talk about Chucky, they talk about, you remember when they went to the facility with all the Chucky? And like, that's Child's Play 2. That's not the first one. It's the second one. Yeah. So if I was to say 2s, Child's Play would maybe be the answer, or Psycho. But if you're talking about sequel, just any sequel ever, it opens it up a bit.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Because I immediately think of like Terminator 2. But Terminator 1 is a horror film, and Terminator 2 is kind of like an action adventure film. So it's like really different. And I would kind of say the same thing about Aliens.
Aliens is very like Space Marine-y, It's very...
I can see the argument for not calling it a horror movie, but I think it's loose. It's horror adjacent. Just like I wouldn't call Aliens is as horror as Terminator is horror. So I think they both kind of fit in that. Yeah. That we wouldn't be mad if someone considered it horror, but it's also not necessarily horror.
I want to say I would go with, I'm going to throw out a couple and let you guys determine. I would go with Hellraiser 2,
that's a good
Texas Chainsaw 2, Dream Warriors, or Psycho 2, I think.
Out of those, I go with Dream Warriors. I think Dream Warriors.
Psycho 2 is very good.
I think Psycho 2 is better than the original. Like, it's better.
I also like The Exorcist 2 better than The Exorcist, but I know I'm in the minority.
But then I want to combat with, but what about Exorcist 3?
Yeah.
Exorcist 3 is it's
probably better than the first two, right?
Yeah, like it really, this is a tough question. It's a great question. It's a tough one, though.
It is.
I can tell you what horror sequel isn't the best one. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is not the best sequel.
Horrible.
No love for Massacre 2, Texas Chainsaw 2. Fucking
I
Talk
think
about
it's
something
good.
that's out there.
Yeah.
Fucking just bananas off the wall.
I need to
different.
watch that one
I
again.
kind of love it. We watched it last year. It might be just because it's on my mind.
I watched the
I
first
showed it to
one
my wife.
last year.
Last year we watched Chainsaw 2 and New Generation. So my
Oh,
wife got to
nice.
see both. She was like, wait a minute, Renee Zellweger is in? I'm like, oh yeah. And then Texas Chainsaw 2 is like a spoof of itself. But not in like a scary movie scream way, but like in a traditional different way.
Yeah.
But also but scary, depraved, and unhinged, like in its own way. I kind of love it for that. I think Psycho 2 though, there's a Bride of Frankenstein and Psycho 2 have like a classic case of being like, we're better than the original, like in almost every way. Like we've just bettered the great, like this was great, but this is better. It's hard to argue against them.
Yeah.
I would also throw in maybe Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
That's great.
Night of the Living Dead also. The Fly 2 is not better than the first one.
No. So that's the thing. There's so many sequels that are terrible.
Nailed it. Yarden nailed it. 28 Weeks Later. Yeah, 100%.
That's a great
28 Weeks Later is way better than the first one.
Yeah, that's a great one. And would you consider 10 Cloverfield Lane a sequel to Cloverfield?
I would, but I don't like it more than the original.
It's a different category of movie too, I think. But yeah. I mean, you're right. There's a lot of horror sequels out there. Most of them bad or not as good as the first, but
yeah,
that's like that for every sequel in every genre. So I think there's some good ones. We got a good list of those ones.
Yeah. All right. 2 hours, 39 minutes. That's an hour faster than I thought we could have done it.
Yeah.
We've given you our 10 favorite horror movies of the year, our honorable mentions, the ones we like the least, our video games we're looking forward to playing, and so much more. I hope you enjoyed 2024's Decade of Horror from PSVG. Right out on time, October 1st, for everybody to make your watch list ahead of time as you head into spooky season. We wish you all the best with your trick-or-treating and all of your activities, and we hope everything is safe and fun. And let us know what you think of all the movies we thought. Let us know which ones you thought were terrible. I desperately want to hear what you thought of the coffee table. So
I might watch it tonight.
If you're one of those people that dare to watch it, I'd love to hear about it.
Let me ask this, Donnie. I'm hungry. I'm getting ready to eat. Should I be watching this movie while I'm eating?
See, that's the thing. The coffee table is depraved, but it's not gory. It's not hostile.
So I'll be fine.
It's not going to make you like look away. It'll make you look away like I shouldn't be looking at this, but not because of what you're seeing. You've seen worse.
Okay.
Like if you could watch Terrifier, this is way less than Terrifier is 8 times the gore than this movie is.
Okay.
It's just what you're seeing you shouldn't be seeing. That's the scary part.
Make me uncomfortable, right?
It's super, like I told you, it's disturbing.
Great.
Yeah.
It's morality based. It's just like, this is like, it's going to push, it's going to challenge you politically.
Oh boy. Politically, jeez, am I going to change candidates?
Just independently as a person, you're going to be like, wait a minute, my soul is in jeopardy watching this.
Okay. I like it.
So it's going to take you there. I can't wait to hear about it. Without further ado, that was 2024's Decade of Horror. I hope you enjoyed it. My co-host, do you have anything you'd like to add before we sign off on another year? Another year.
I'm excited, man. This has been a great year of horror. Well, not.
I didn't mention. Is there anything that you guys? One thing I didn't put on the list that we should have. 2025. Is there anything that you're like, I can't wait to watch?
I can't think of anything. I'm more excited about these games that we getting this month. I mean, I keep like, it's a lot of stuff coming out in the upcoming game. Like Slitherhead looks dope.
Slitherhead does look dope. I forgot about horror movies next year. All right, so we should get next year. Well, I'm going to knock on wood with this one as I open up a list. 28 years later, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
We're not
The
Quiet Place 3, Black Phone 2 is being filmed.
Black Phone 2.
Yeah.
Megan 2.
Okay.
That'll definitely release next year. The next Saw is expected. The Monkey.
Yeah, with
and the Wolfman.
The Monkey is Osgood Perkins' next movie. That's the guy who did Longlegs.
Okay.
And it has Elijah Wood and Tatiana Maslany in it. I'm really excited for that one.
Eli Roth is doing Thanksgiving 2. So apparently it was good enough to get a sequel.
Oh, boy.
Untitled Insidious sequel.
Okay.
As well as untitled I Know What
Goose
You
Egg.
Did Last Summer sequel.
Yes, I did see that's coming.
Oh, God.
I couldn't be less interested.
Yeah, I've never liked that franchise.
They gotta bring Brandy back.
Yeah, she is back.
Yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to. You're right, Delvin, though. There are a lot of good horror video games to play. I will be getting Hollow Body, Silent Hill, Slitterhead, Clock Tower, Ghosts, Retro Realms. I'll be getting all those things. When I'm going to play them, I don't know. But I'll be getting them all.
I got Hollow Body. Hollow Body's on Steam.
Well, at least they delayed Creed, so I don't have to find time for Assassin's Creed. So maybe in November, I can actually play some of these damn games.
Yeah, I'm trying to play all these games right now. October, get all the horror games out the way.
Yeah,
gonna film.
I think for like Halloween, for like horror, I'm gonna play Clock Tower, Ghosts, and Retro Realms, and like that's gonna be it.
I feel like I don't have to play Until Dawn because I've played it so many times already. It's the same goddamn game.
Dawn again.
Yeah.
So like, all right.
I'll wait for it to hit Steam like super cheap.
Yeah.
When it's on Steam for like $15-$20, I'll play it again. But until then, I'm not going to do it again. Cool. All right. Well, that's it for this year. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully, you found plenty of things to go watch or find this spooky season. And until next year, we'll catch you then. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi ho! Ha ha ha!